Alrighty, we are going live here. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off here. Welcome to the Cobra discussion and hangout stream. So, yeah, I'll wait till we have some people in the chat here. Unfortunately, Matt Thomas is not going to make it tonight. So, he wanted to make it, but it's whoever jumps in and the stream here. Got the Blu-ray right here. So let's see who shows up. We got Quinn. We got Yenko. So hey, Explorer of Horror. Hey, Declan. Yeah, definitely agree with that. So what I'm thinking is, we'll talk about the movie for okay, here's what I did here. I've set a timer, to where we could talk about the movie. And I figured why not set the timer for the movie's runtime? So about an hour and 27 minutes, we could talk about the movie. Then after that, we could hang out. We can hang out, talk about movies, take questions from the chat, and we could get into randomness, random topics, movie topics, rants. So, but I'm doing well. So, like I said, Matt Thomas is not going to make it, but it's whoever jumps in. I'm going to keep it at 6. So, if you love the movie like I do, if you want to jump in, let me know. And I will keep it at, again, 6 people. And we'll go from there. And what I'll do is when I have a few people in here, we'll get the timer going or whatever. Yeah, the ending fight is great. I will review this. I got a little behind this week because of work and stuff. And I didn't have time. Yesterday, the internet was out. We had an internet outage. So I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do video-wise. Let's see. Where's my phone at? Where did I put that? Okay. So, yeah, right now it's 7:35 p.m. on my end. And one of my comic buddies might do a special with an intro. But that's cool. Yeah, Magnum Force is great. I mean, really, this is Stallone's Dirty Harry. I mean, the approach to the character, the aura of Cobra definitely reminds you of Dirty Harry. It should have been a trilogy. So then again, I know I'm starting a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock. So, but I wanted to go ahead and get started because I don't know how long we're going to go here. Like I said, people are welcome to come in, and I'll keep it at a certain limit. And so yeah, this film had a great soundtrack. Angel of the City is a great song. There are so many great songs on the soundtrack. I think it was a hit, but from what I understand, what I've been told is that it didn't meet expectations. I think. See, this is why Matt Thomas, he wanted to make it tonight, but he got tied up. So it's all good though. I mean, I told him that I was going to do the same thing for over the top and Tango Cash if this goes well. In fact, I'll go ahead and do this here. Oh, really? I think maybe I've heard that before. That the touch from Transformers was going to be on the soundtrack. That would have been interesting. So again, I know I'm starting a little bit early here, so that's probably why there's not a lot of people in here yet. I wanted to start at 8. Like I had it scheduled for 8, but I wanted to go ahead and get started. So again, Matt Thomas wanted to be here, but he got tied up with something, and but we'll see who pops in. So, and I didn't have any notes, like I didn't write down anything in preparation for this. Preparation or whatever. That I can't talk tonight. Um, I didn't sleep well last night, but preparation, preparation H, whichever. Yeah, Brian Thompson's great in this, and yeah, I forgot he was a Dragonheart. Unfortunately, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is not good, but he's always a great villain. I know there's a better Blu-ray out there that has an interview with Brian Thompson. I mean, unfortunately, you don't have Stallone in there, but I don't know what Stallone feels about the movie. I've heard he doesn't like it, but he likes it now. I don't know. Okay. I don't think we've ever talked before. What's your name? Explorer of Horror? Because I don't think we've ever talked or you've ever been on here before. Yeah, the Shout Factory. I don't have it. I just have the Blu-ray here, and all it does is just carries over the features from the DVDs. So you got a commentary about the director up here, making up featurette, but that's it. Nate, okay. And by the way, I have a. I don't know if you guys saw, but here, let me do this real quick. Yeah, that's the background. So as more people join in, you'll see the background more. He was a great director. George P. Cosmatos. I haven't seen everything he's done, but Leviathan's great. Of Unknown Origin, I haven't seen, uh, and I know there's always been that thing of, really it was Stallone that directed First Blood Part 2 in this movie, and it wasn't him that George Cosmatos directed Tombstone. Uh, he didn't direct Tombstone. It was more Kurt Russell, but he was still a good director. Okay. Oof. Yeah, so this whole week has been a little bit nuts with work. Yesterday, I got home decent and I wanted to make some videos, but the internet was out all day. Like it didn't get fixed until overnight. Uh, and even then, last night, I didn't sleep well, which I got my sleep earlier today when I got back home from work. But I didn't want to postpone this discussion here. So, I didn't want to put it off another day, or I wanted to go ahead and do it because there's other videos I want to get to. But like I said, it's whoever joins in here. I think, yeah, like I said, when I had it at 8 o'clock, I think people were assuming 8 o'clock. So maybe I should have started at 8 o'clock, but it is what it is. So I'll just wait. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely get a review up tomorrow. I've already watched this, of course. I've went back and already rewatched Over the Top, Lockup, and then Tango and Cash. Hey, Scotty. So I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Okay, wait a second. We got Nate here. Hey,
Hey, man. How's it going?
Put my headphones on.
Is my audio coming through okay?
Yeah, pretty good, man. How about you? I mean, it sounds great to me.
Oh, cool. I wasn't sure. I'd been messing around with the audio all day. If I glitch out a little bit, I'm uploading right now, so I don't know. It might be a little bit wonky, but I figure I'll just join and hang out.
Yeah.
Talk about Cobra, man.
Yeah, I figured, talk about it for a little bit, and then like afterwards, for people that want to like talk about movie topics and stuff and randomness and all that.
Because I just recently found out about Cobra. Well, not found out, but I recently watched it, and I was like, "Oh, cool, perfect timing." I just found this and watched it, so.
So, what'd you think?
Oh, I really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was cool seeing Stallone play more of like a slick sort of, kind of a more quieter performance from him. I thought it was really unique. He says a lot, but at the same time, he doesn't say as much as you think. I mean, I guess you could say Rambo too does that, but it's like, I always grew up with Rocky, so it's always Stallone. Hey, yo. So it's cool seeing him play like the slick cop character.
You have to wonder if like maybe he watched the Dirty Harry movies beforehand. He's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
I think so. You could see a lot of like inspirations definitely with this character, man. Like possibly, I think he could have just taken a little bit of Clint Eastwood and sprinkled it in there.
Yeah. Hey, Jack. Yeah, Matt Thomas wanted to be here, but he got tied up with something. But I'm sure he would have loved to talk about this movie. And I'm talking about Studio Red Band out there. Shout out to Matt. Let me see. We got Scotty.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going, Retro Scotty? How you doing?
Well, hello there, Nate. I don't know if I've ever seen you before, but welcome.
Yeah, this is the first time we're chatting, too.
Yeah.
Right.
I popped up like once before, but it was under a different name, so it's good to be back, though. It's been a while.
Okay. I'm just seeing if my camera angle is okay. So
You're fine. I haven't read those emails yet, Jack, but I just got my internet back up like last night or overnight. My internet was down yesterday.
It's funny you should mention this. I remember Jack Craven. He has a YouTube video where he showed some like deleted clips and pictures from Cobra. I don't mean to dive into the history. I don't mean to take over, but I remember.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But I remember reading that apparently Cobra was originally going to be close to 2 hours, but whenever films like Top Gun and Aliens came out, and I'm trying to think of any other 1986 films, like, anyways, it was supposed to be that close, but then they drastically made another re-edit to where it's like its current theatrical length at 87 minutes, like just under an hour and a half. So,
well, speaking of 87 minutes, being that this is a discussion and hangout, I was kind of messing with the timer, like how long can we talk about this movie? And I'm like, okay, make it the runtime of the movie.
That's a neat idea.
Well, that'd be interesting, but hey, maybe we can go a little bit and talk a little further about, maybe we could have, do you think maybe, what, maybe we should say that for later. I was thinking maybe it would be nice if we can get an extended cut, just to see what it was like,
Yeah, because rewatching this again, and I'll talk about it more in the review, like, I haven't seen it in a while, then rewatching it again, I'm like, yeah, you could definitely tell, like, there's a lot of stuff that was cut here.
Yeah, like,
it's kind of like Event Horizon. Whenever I watched that, I could tell there was stuff that maybe there was more scenes that should have been in that, but that was a real long movie that got cut down to an hour and a half.
Hey, Bobby.
Right back.
No problem, man. But yeah, I wanted to get a review out yesterday, and that didn't work out.
Okay, well, mine was the Scream Factory edition. So.
Oh, okay, I got the standard Blu-ray,
and
I got nothing.
It looked pretty good on my TV. I mean, the colors looked all naturally saturated, and everything was clear. I mean, if there was grain, at least it's actual film grain. And I remember someone did a comparison on like DVD Talk, the standard Blu-ray that you have versus the Scream Factory Blu-ray. It seemed like the colors were color corrected, where it seemed like everything had kind of like a greenish teal look to it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, of course, done it's a new 2K scan, so it looked pretty good on my end. So, and just before I got on here, I was actually watching the interview with Brian Thompson. He seems to have like a very interesting history, as he's recalling, like he did Terminator. He didn't expect it to be a big hit. In fact, he was going to college at some point, and then the months came out when Terminator was big. His friends were all telling him, "Hey, this is big," and he had no idea, that the career he was going to have, because he did this, and he was doing some kind of other job, and he was auditioning for this, and then eventually, of course, he got the part. But hey, Thompson, would go on to have a pretty productive career either way. So
I think I saw a panel. Yeah. Oh wait, we got Mecca G0.
Mecca, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Mecca?
Yeah, I saw Brian Thompson. I didn't see him in a panel, but there was one on YouTube where he talked about, I think at the time when he was hired for this, he was working at Universal Studios.
Yeah, that's what it was, Universal Studios. I want to make sure I heard that correctly. In fact, I think he was pretending to be Conan or something like that.
Yeah, or some kind of like pirate, some kind of pirate show. I don't know exactly what, Pirates of the Caribbean but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what it was. But yeah, he was like, I don't know if it was Conan, but somebody out there knows.
And he played an amazing Shao Kahn in so many wrong ways.
He was okay, I guess.
It was Oscar worthy. Who wants to start?
Why don't you start, John?
I say I discovered it through YouTube when when Matt would talk about it, or Mike. I don't know who came first. I want to say it was Matt, but I think, when Matt talked about this movie and when I heard about it, I'm like, hey, I got to check that out. So yeah, I think that's how I discovered it. And yeah, I think I don't know about a sequel. I mean, I think there was an idea around, and this is why Matt needs to be here, Matt Thomas. I think one of the ideas for a sequel was that Andrew Robinson's character was going to be the villain, or he had ties to the New World Order.
Yeah, I was thinking, was he like somehow involved?
They had a bit of setup to it.
Yeah.
It's possible. I wonder if maybe they could have not made him the villain, but maybe he was somehow unwillingly involved with someone that was. That could have been an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess for shifting to me, I think I somehow found out either through internet or just I looked through Stallone's filmography, and I ended up buying the DVD, or either I saw on TV or I bought the DVD. Either way, I enjoyed the flick. I remember buying the DVD back then for like $5, believe it or not, at Target back in 2005.
Oh,
I got that, and I think I got that in Tango Cash and a 12-pack of caffeine-free Coke or something like that. The good old days. Nice. I don't think you have caffeine-free Coke now. So, but eventually, speaking of the DVD, I actually ended up selling that DVD, and it was during the pandemic. I actually sold it for like $15, $16, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess they were not exactly. I guess because people were buying physical media too as well. So I managed to sell for a little more than it was worth, because I don't think anybody wanted to pay for the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray was over $19, $20, and thankfully I got like 20% off the Blu-ray, I think, or 15%.
You said that's the Shout Factory Blu-ray?
Yes, that's the Shout Factory Blu-ray, as you can tell, collector's edition.
What are the features again? Because I know Brian Thompson's interviewed on
there. Yeah, it also has an interview with Lee Garlington, the one that played the forget what her character is, but she's the one that is helping them, and she's also a cop, as it turns out. And I have an interview with Marco Rodriguez. I don't know who the actor was. You have an interview with Andrew Robinson, who played who played Monty, the one that wasn't exactly a fan of Cobra's methods. And nothing with Cosmatos, obviously, because he passed away. It would have been nice if Stallone was interviewed, or who would have been a good interview to do it with? Okay, wait a minute. There is an interview. There is actually an interview with Art LaFour, and I think he passed away like last year or early this year. I can't remember. And then you have, I think it's just mainly the new interviews that you have on there. Then you have like a vintage featurette, which I remember was on the DVD back in the day. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's the featurette, so it carried over.
Yeah, it was like yeah, that's probably a trailer. You have your standard trailer, and I believe it has this on here. Apparently, it says there's vintage featurette, so I wonder if there was more than one on here. And there's a teaser trailer and a theatrical trailer and a still gallery. So
nice.
Too bad there's no extended cut, which would have been nice. But in fact, speaking of which, Jack Craven's kind of talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. Cobra was originally like 2 hours long, but Stallone and Warner Bros. Cut it down so it could have more screenings, and I imagine that a lot of the violence was cut down too.
Can you imagine if this had an X rating?
Ooh, X rating. So there wasn't.
It's still kind of brutal, though. I mean, there's still some scenes in there that are pretty intense.
Was it when you see Brian Thompson use his weapon on the first 2 victims?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And probably the shootout at the facility. Yeah, there's a guy that gets burned, and Stallone, was able to pour some of the gas. What was that? I guess the gasoline or some kind of flammable liquid on him and burns him.
Yeah.
Then we see what happens to the night slasher.
So how did you discover the film, Nate? Or
it was kind of through Matt. I discovered quite a bit of movies: Leviathan, Jacob's Ladder, and this. And I watched Detox the same day that I checked out Cobra.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool having that double feature, 2 darker movies, but at the same time, different movies. And I loved it. I thought it was cool having Stallone in more of a darker, sort of like a slasher type of movie. It's just a really dark tone, and it really just struck me as being a very unique one. And the energy of the action scenes and the way that it was shot. I'm a big fan of George P. Cosmatos, so it was cool seeing him directing. It was really cool discovering it. And I actually found it because I couldn't find it for a while. I was like, where do I find this movie? And it was on HBO. And I was like, I got to watch it. I haven't been able to find it, so I got to watch it. And yeah, it was cool checking it out. As far as a sequel goes, I'm not sure how you really approach a sequel. Maybe doing
Dirty
something
Cops.
a bit longer. You can, there's so many routes you can go down, and giving more of creative freedom maybe to the people making it, allow them to make their movie. And You know, there's a lot of routes you can go down, but
Yeah, I never
it'd be
got
cool
a
to
chance
see a
to
Cobra
discuss
sequel.
my thoughts on the sequel. I mean, I think maybe a sequel would only work if maybe Stallone works with someone that he can, pass his knowledge of, you know, pass it on to someone that could be an up and coming recruit or something. I mean, it could have worked in the late '80s and '90s, but like Jack Craven said, there was going to be a sequel, but Andrew Robinson said he was not going to be the villain in the sequel, and I don't think anyone was officially attached to it. It would have been interesting to see how that sequel would have gone, but
Yeah, because I don't know if it was Matt Thomas that mentioned it at one point in the past about his character Andrew Robinson, like maybe he had some kind of correlation to the New World Order, or
yeah,
that was a rumor.
yeah. But
That's why I
Andrew
mentioned it.
Robinson was, I guess, if it's true, he wasn't going to want to be a villain, so either someone else was going to be in his place or whoever. But I think I don't know what I would have done with the sequel, but I know I would have at least tried to delve a little more into the backstory of Cobra a bit more. His see, and we can see if he's still involved with Bridget Nielsen's character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but if it doesn't get a sequel, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think we're good on the sequels.
I think you can do like one more sequel and you can call it good. I just hope they don't try to ruin his character or try to kill him off screen like they did with, let's say, Dalton from Roadhouse.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, back then, yeah, I would have said, yeah, I think it should have been a trilogy because
It's possible. I mean, that thought crossed my mind too. Maybe a trilogy, but
who would have directed? Let's say if they did a Cobra 2, I'm trying to think who would have directed that.
Since it's WB, maybe Richard Donner, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
He could have been.
Or they could have given Sly the directing job.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first Cobra did well enough, and strange enough, even though Cannon was credited as the producers, I keep hearing that they really had little to no involvement in the movie for some odd reason. Even though they would work with Stallone, on Over the Top.
Oh, it was okay. Really, I didn't know that.
So he's going to be the main villain. Kind of unexpected reveal at the end. I'm guessing.
It makes sense though a little bit now because, I mean, Brian Thompson is great as the main villain, but it kind of feels like maybe there's somebody else.
Yeah, basically
kind of
that's the brain
higher
pulling the
position.
strings type of deal.
Yeah,
like Brian is the brawn, and Monte is pretty much the brainchild of the whole operation.
Yeah. Because now that Jack mentions it, yeah, I mean, it definitely feels that way. But even like some of the little things in the movie, I mean, the Cobra character with the sunglasses in the match, and eating a pizza with a pair of scissors, cutting up the pizza. I mean, I just love those little.
Yeah, very different.
You mean these sunglasses?
There you go.
Yeah, they're not polarized, but they're actually these are the G15 lens glasses that Cobra wears, and they're Ray-Ban, of course.
Oh, okay, the exact pair.
Yeah, just that they're not polarized like his was in the film. And these are not cheap. And these are not cheap, by the way. I think I still paid under $100, which Ray-Bans tend to go way over 100, but I was lucky to even get a decent price on these, I think.
So, what are some of your favorite things about the movie?
I definitely like the very opening in the supermarket and the lines of dialogue that Cobra has, where I forget what the actor who plays the person that plays the shooter, and he's like, "Come on, man, I got a bomb, and then I'm gonna blow this whole place up." And he's like, "Go ahead, I don't shop here." Or he's like, "You better bring in the cameras," and he's like, "I can't do that." And he's like, "I don't deal with." Cobra's like, "I don't deal with cycles. I put them away." And here's the tagline: "You're a disease, and I'm the cure."
Such a great line.
Great, classic.
And even the soundtrack too. I mean, golly, the soundtrack is.
Are we talking about the songs that were used?
Yeah, I mean, Angel in the
I
City.
love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah, Rob, that was perfect.
The
right there.
whatever that song is where he's pulling up to his like place where he lives. I love that piece of music where he's pulling up in the car.
It was written by Gloria Estefan. I was trying to remember if she sang it or she had some involvement or was it someone else. But it was Gloria Estefan that wrote it. It was, I think the band was called Miami Sound Machine or something like that. I was looking at the credits, and then I also like the song where where Cobra, his partner, and Ingrid are heading to the safe house, and there's the Feel the Heat song done by Gene Bavad. I don't know how he pronounces that last name, Babador or something. But it just fit the tone it just fit the film so well. And
here's a little tidbit from Jack.
So that's how Monte was going to reveal his true colors. It's kind of weird how eventually when Cobra's arguing with his superiors, and Monte actually says, "How about letting her live?"
Yeah,
I don't know if that would have been. I guess that could have he would say that to draw suspicion away from him, I'm assuming. But it seemed like Monte, was definitely for protecting people, but it wasn't exactly a fan of Cobra's methods of handling, the perpetrators and stuff like that and suspects.
And it's funny because, we were mentioned earlier, Dirty Harry. There's quite a Dirty Harry connection here with Andrew Robinson in the movie.
Oh, yeah, because he was in the first Dirty Harry movie.
Yeah, Scorpio, and then Rainey Santoni. Yeah, he was in the first Dirty Harry, right?
I believe Andrew Robinson was. I don't know about Rennie. I had no idea he was in one.
Okay,
I have to watch all the Dirty Harrys. I know that's shocking. I haven't seen all of them. I know the one I saw the most was Sudden Impact, and a little bit of the one with the Deadpool where you had a young Jim Carrey in the role, and Liam Neeson was the villain, of course.
Yeah, he's Dirty Harry's partner.
I've only seen like half of the first one. So I'm way behind. I've only seen half the first one.
Oh, you definitely need to check out all of them.
Yeah, I could have swore. I think a few of them were for free on Tubi, I think. I don't know if all of them were.
I would say Magnum Force is my favorite.
Yeah, a lot of people say Magnum Force was the good one, or at least the first two, but I definitely have seen Sudden Impact. That's the one I think is at least the best so far, but maybe if I go back and watch all of them, maybe I might have a different opinion. But
is that the one with oh god,
Sandra Locke?
Yeah.
That's and apparently that was her last theatrical appearance, even though she had appeared in a couple of films after. But I don't know if they got like a theatrical release. And supposedly, since Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke were involved in real life, supposedly Sandra had blamed him for blacklisting her career and stuff like that for whatever reason. So,
yeah, I watched all of them last year, and I mean, I love all the Dirty Harry movies. So, but I'm kind of like, I don't know why I'm having a hard time remembering certain things.
Yeah, Mega G0 made a nice little quote: "Make my day."
Yeah. Just trying to think, what else could we talk about here? I mean, we could. Let's see. I mean, I could pull up trivia, but I mean, if there's anybody like in the chat that wants to drop a
what
comment
do you think
or
of
question,
Bridget Nielsen's performance? Do you think she was good, or you think she was there?
I liked her character. I mean, I don't think she was like a damsel in distress. I mean, obviously, she's a witness and she's scared of our main villain, the antagonist.
Yeah, I think she managed to do that part okay. Do you think you think her and Stallone worked well with each other? How she can easily fall for his character? Do you buy that, or is that? Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I mean,
of course, in real life they were together.
Yeah.
Supposedly, whenever they would shoot scenes or when they were done, he would go off and do whatever he wanted, which apparently was upsetting a lot of the crew. I remember reading something like that, and apparently someone stood up to him. He actually supposedly was nice for a few days, and he went back to being, the typical Stallone that with his ego and everything. So,
yeah, like was it that interview with Brian Thompson gave? And it's on YouTube where he talked about, even the final fight, he got accidentally hit by Sly, and he had to be shielded from the stunt crew or some of the crew.
And right before I joined, when he was talking about how he would, you really didn't go to Stallone or something like that. Like, I guess he was protected or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that Stallone would spend a lot of time in his trailers, like his trailer watching the basketball game.
Hmm.
Like they would be like, trying to
Oh,
shoot a
wow.
certain scene, waiting on Stallone, and he'll be in his
Yeah.
trailer watching the Knicks game.
Was that just how he was at the time, or was that just like maybe this project, the production of it was it difficult for Stallone? Not difficult for Stallone, but maybe a bit chaotic. So maybe he was just getting tired of it and going to the trailer, or is that just
who
something that
really
was happening?
knows?
I don't know. I mean, speaking of the original script. Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and also apparently Brian Thompson actually ended up having to buy his own ticket to see the film personally because he wasn't invited to the film's premiere by the producers and Warner Brothers, which still mystifies him to this day.
Yeah, I wonder why he wasn't invited. I mean, see, this is Matt would have maybe some idea about that, or Fabio. See, I wish I had a better answer. I think maybe I've heard before that the makers behind the film weren't too impressed by Brian Thompson or his performance, and maybe that was it.
I don't understand
I'm
that.
not sure
Sorry, what were you
I thought
saying,
he did
John?
great.
about not being invited to the premiere of the movie. Like, was there ever a reason?
He said it still mystifies him to this day. I guess there's never been a confirmed reason for it. But going back to the Stallone's ego, apparently
Pretty good.
Well, he did a good job. He was definitely, physically intimidating. He had that very intense stare, which, scared Bridget Nielsen's character for sure.
Yeah, you would not want to meet Brian Thompson in an alleyway, that's for sure. I think Brian Thompson cut off Scotty's mic.
Something about
No, I don't think no. He doesn't want to cut off my mic. I'll show him.
Watch him pop up in the street here. Mess with our feed.
Hey guys.
On the Stallone's ego, apparently Stallone was actually complaining to cinematographer Rick White that they were falling behind, and he said his crew needed to work harder. And apparently, Watt or Wait, how you pronounce his name, responded by saying if Stallone gets his hands off of Bridget Nielsen's ass and stops showing off to his bodyguards, maybe they wouldn't have a problem with time. And Stallone was actually shocked that somebody would talk to him that way. But he turned down his ego for a few weeks, and even Watt admitted that Stallone had a great sense of humor despite his huge ego. Then he also confirmed a rumor that Stallone was the true director of the film and calling George Cosmatos a good producer but a bad director.
That happened a lot with George Cosmatos. Apparently,
I think
a lot of his cast would direct his movies.
Similar. In an interview, I haven't watched it, but I remember her saying something that Cosmatos really didn't do a whole lot. Like even a lot of people, when he directed Tombstone, people say that Kurt Russell directed that. And that Cosmatos was responsible for the shot list or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard Michael Biehn talk about that on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. Michael Biehn talked about George Cosmatos. He was just not. I'm trying to put it nicely, but he just wasn't a good person to be around, a good director.
Yeah, apparently when Stallone was on set, apparently there wasn't a whole lot of Cosmatos, and this is what Brian Thompson said. And then apparently when Stallone wasn't on set, George Cosmatos was like really tyrannical or something like that.
Yeah. Very unlikable. That's what I've heard. Yeah, just a very unlikable filmmaker. And
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I could hear you fine. But I
don't know if something's going on with Nate or I don't know if you see that. Nope. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I just want to make sure it wasn't me because I want to make sure my internet wasn't fucking up or anything.
Oh, you're fine. It's probably the Night Slasher.
The Night Slasher.
Poseidon. Yeah, I've seen it, but it's an average movie.
I haven't fully watched it, but I remember it's got some nice little visuals here and there. But sadly, it was the last film that Wolfgang Peterson directed.
Oh yeah.
And welcome back, Nate.
Thank you guys. Sorry about that. Internet.
We thought the Night Slasher.
Yeah, we thought it was Night Slasher, or maybe Stallone's ego decided to shut you down or something.
Stone's like, hey, yo, what's this talking about over here?
What is he talking about my ego for?
You guys see they got that documentary coming out here soon. You guys gonna check that out?
Yeah, that looks
about Stallone's career.
Oh, there's a documentary coming out about him.
Yeah, in November. Did you see the It's like a little teaser.
No, I have not.
It's like gonna be on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, is it going to be similar to that documentary that someone did about Schwarzenegger? I think, or is this like a different type or a different?
That's what I'm hoping. Like it's going to be more than one part. I mean, I hope they can really
Like early career, mid career, where he's at now. That'd be cool.
I think that'd be
like,
interesting.
He's like, I did do Italian Stallion, but we don't talk about that one.
Can you imagine if he did though in the documentary?
Does he ever talk about Stallone, Schwarzenegger in the documentary? If anyone's seen it,
Yeah, I've seen the Schwarzenegger documentary. I would say
I've never seen it.
It was a three-part. It was a three-part documentary. And the first two parts for me were the more interesting because the part one it covers his beginnings and the Mr. Universe run, and then part two is about his movies. I mean, they didn't go over every single one. I mean, of course, they're going to skim over some, certain ones, but
Did they spend an hour on Raw Deal?
No. I think maybe it was like briefly mentioned. Cyborg versus Night Slasher.
Well, if the Night Slasher had a very cerebral brain, he could win. But since the Cyborg is much stronger and can anticipate moves, I'm going to probably say the Cyborg wins, no doubt. And that's without the Schwarzenegger skin on him.
Abaddon, based on the Angel of the Abyss.
That'd been pretty far out there, right? Like what? Stallone's like reading the Bible, like this is what it is.
Now was that? Oh, so it was okay. It was like his original name. It wasn't like his first name, right? Was the first name ever mentioned with the Night Slasher?
I don't think so. The Night Slasher is a cool name, though.
Yeah, Night Slasher is probably a better name either way you slice it.
Hey, well, man. Hey, by the way, like I said, people are welcome to join.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Wildman's definitely going to want to
talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, thoughts on the writer's strike? And I know we're talking about Cobra, but man, there's a lot going on there.
It's going to be a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Probably a lot of delays on films.
Yeah, because the SAG they're now fighting with the writers, and everything's on pause.
So no films have been produced, or probably certain films have yet to be released because of this, and then some films that are currently filming are going to halt of production.
Yeah, SAG just joined, so basically anything that was filming right now has been put on halt. Like even Deadpool 3. They were filming that's been stopped. Beetlejuice 2, they were filming that's been stopped.
And I know that Cobra Kai and supposedly Stranger Things are affected by this as well. So any kind of film or TV productions is affected by this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, I don't think Cobra Kai Season 6 has been filmed yet.
They better get it resolved.
Yeah, apparently and I know we're kind of getting away from Cobra a little bit, but I think one of the proposals from the studios was that they wanted to AI scan the actors. Like this was an offer, and someone can elaborate more on that. But basically, they were going to get paid much. I'll find that
AI can write the scripts too. I know that was a thing that was popping up, like having computers write the scripts and not people.
But wow, man, your
computers
mic
write scripts. My goodness.
Mic is off, Wild Man.
Well, hopefully it wasn't those SAG writers that sucked. Oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. Brian Thompson got to him.
Or maybe it was Bridget Nielsen. Maybe she wanted to have a nice makeup session with him. Well, maybe the old Bridget Nielsen. I don't know about the new one. The older one who I have to admit hasn't aged all that well.
Yeah, I'll find information about the AI scan thing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, Wildman was just in here, and I think he may have had an issue, but he'll come back in.
Or maybe it was Daniel Craig. Yeah, it's Daniel Craig that got him.
Daniel Craig got him. But I'm trying to think what else can we talk about? I mean, Like even some of the like one thing that really jumped out at me when I was rewatching it, like even some of the colors, like the use of colors in the beginning, like a
Yeah,
lot
like the
of
very
red.
opening, it's like it's pretty bright red if I recall correctly, and especially when they do that particular shot on the bike, it's yeah, just the use of color and
Wait a second, Wild Man.
Ah, great citations.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, man?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing it.
going on.
So what are your thoughts on Cobra? I mean, we're just kind of like chit chatting about it a little bit.
Well, I definitely agree. It's a very underrated action flick. It's because it. Like I said, I think it created this genre mixing action with a slasher at that time because of the character was named the Night Slasher for a reason, you know, and I think that's why the critics bash it so much because it's trying to be an action film but a slasher. It was part of the nature of the story. What the fuck did you expect it to do? And I thought, and I thought Stallone. I thought this was a good follow-up for Stallone for the big year he had before that, 1985, with both Rambo 2 and Rambo and Rambo 2 and Rocky 4 and Rocky 4, and I like the fact that this was like his take on Dirty Harry because of the you guys already mentioned the Dirty Harry influence, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because the Renegade Cop, Dirty Clint Eastwood, he led the way for the Renegade Cop by Dirty Harry, and Stallone wanted to take that further with this character, but give him more attitude and more edgy stuff. Like I like how he's almost similar. He's similar to the bad guys, but he's like on our side. It kind of goes back to that saying, fighting fire with fire. He's as tough as more psychotic as the bad guys, and he's not afraid to go to that edge, like the scene where in the grocery store where he has the gun, he has the guy at gunpoint, and he looks like he dropped the gun, but just like Dirty Harry, he has a knife, and of course, bad guys are known for using knives, and that's the cool thing because you don't expect that from a cop. And then he says that line, "I'm the hero of the new world," and then Cobra says, "You're a disease, and I'm the cure." And he throws the knife, and then he shoots him, and that was, I mean, that's the thing. We need more heroes like this in movies. This is enough with the superheroes. I know we got John Wick, but we definitely need that hero who's not afraid to go into cross the line, similar almost to the bad guy, the fighting fire with fire, we definitely need these type of heroes again.
You definitely someone that, isn't afraid to pull the punches or have to get his hands dirty, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the most recent one we had close to that was, of course, Jack Reacher, the series on Amazon. Of course, season 2 is coming out this fall. I can't fucking wait. I'm ready. I'm sure you guys are excited.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first season, and I can't wait for the second.
Most definitely.
Oh, but I don't know if Scotty and Nate have. And by the way, Wildman, this is Nate. This is the first time he's joined up.
How's it going, everyone?
Oh, nice. Hey, green salutation. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
How's it feeling down there in Crystal Lake? Jason hasn't gone to you.
Oh, it's been not yet. He's still looking for me. I just camped out here for a little bit, waiting.
The water's not too cold, is it?
Perfect.
The water's not too cold, right?
Oh wow,
it's all good.
Waller Clark was the name of Night Slasher.
And also taking account, apparently,
he like to go roller. He like to kill. What he like to go roller skating or something?
Or was he doing?
That'd be a more psychotic version of Xanadu. You know Xanadu, right? It starred Michael Beck, who played Strong in The Warriors, with Olivia Newton-John.
For some reason, Brian Thompson and rollerblading doesn't mix. I don't know. I just gotta get my.
That's so weird.
No, you know what? Actually, I take that back. Can you imagine the Night Slasher on rollerblades? Like just
the roller slasher.
Yeah, definitely. Slasher. He'll probably be more mobile with his kills. But going back to what Lawman said about his take of Dirty Harry, apparently this was Stallone's way of also wanting to do his own version of Beverly Hills Cop, because he was going to do that at one point.
Exactly.
Course,
yeah. You guys talked about that story yet?
No, we haven't really talked about that.
I just now brought it up. Apparently, for whatever reason, I guess because he didn't want to do a comedy version, Stallone wanted to do a more grounded and serious tone on it. So that's what.
He wanted to change the name from Axel Foley to Axel Cobretti, and it was instead of Detroit, he wanted to keep it in L.A. And of course, the climax on the script where he's in a Lamborghini and he has a chicken run chase with a speeding train, and in the script he almost demolishes half of Beverly Hills, kind of like his early take on Demolition Man. Also, I guess he wanted to go that route, not with Demolition Man a little bit in there too.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, from what Brian Thompson just now came back to me when I was watching the interview, he also mentioned the majority of the film was going to be set in Seattle at one point, and it was going to open with a sequence on a ferry or something like that. But
really?
It's changed to where Stallone, does this shoot 'em up, on the guys on the motorcycles. So that's what ended up happening.
And going back to Beverly Hills Cop, don't forget after Cobra opened, of course, they did Beverly Hills Cop 2. And of course, there's that scene where Eddie Murphy's on the phone in the room, and Billy has a poster of Cobra on the wall. It was like, and of course, Bridget Nielsen was in both those two movies.
Yeah, Bridget Nielsen.
Now, was this at the time when she was like, I know she was dating Sly, but wasn't there like something going on where it was like Stallone and Arnold too? Arnold was involved?
I think Nielsen was involved with Arnold first because, they did that movie together,
Red Sonja. Yeah.
Red Sonja. So I don't know how long it lasted with her and Schwarzenegger, but, it definitely, I imagine it lasted a little bit longer with Stallone, but eventually, they were married for like a year or two until they divorced. So.
And I don't think we even talked about the work print of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course, I remember seeing clips. Of course, every time Cobra came on TV, that was the thing about movies coming out in the theater. When they go on TV, they show more alternate deleted scenes. And of course, some of the scenes I remember was how this little boy came into the police station, and he gave them this package of a body part, and then the phone rings, and he picks up the phone, and it's the nice slasher's voice talking about she's with the angels or something. She's with death or something.
Oh, that was in the TV version. Okay.
And also, right after Cobra kills the night slasher, him and Bridget Nielsen were about to leave the warehouse, and all of a sudden the cops came up. They put their guns on him. He tells them he's a cop, and the cop is so pissed off. I want some answers. You hear me? I want some answers. What happened? And then Cobra turns around. And he says, "When you find it, let me know."
Yeah, because there's like 30 or 40 minutes of extra footage.
Yep,
that's not available. I mean, I think about this point,
it goes to show you why of all those special features on Blu-ray, those special Blu-rays, why don't we have one with Cobra? I know they came out with a special Shout Factory came out with Cobra, but there's none of those work print features are not on there. What the fuck?
I don't know. Some of it, I know that Jack Craven was talking about. Some of the footage was not exactly in the best of shape. So, I mean, it would be nice if they could have gotten some of the footage.
Well, you know what? With this AI technology, they can definitely redo it. Speaking of AI, because I know they took some old. You can take old footage and use AI to correct it or something. They can do that. AI is not all a bad thing in Hollywood, people. It's not all.
No.
Until the Terminator comes, right? Wild man, until the Terminator arrives at your doorstep.
until Hollywood's version of Skynet becomes a reality, then
we are tired of all these MCU films.
Yeah.
We will now create new things.
And speaking of which, since I mentioned that Cosmatos was really tyrannical, apparently it got to a point where it actually rubbed everyone the wrong way, including Brian Thompson. He said that, according to what Thompson said, Cosmatos said to him, if you had to listen to me, you would have had a better performance, which he didn't take kindly. And Thompson referred to him as a pale chain smoker, which isn't surprising because it seems like a lot of interviews, Cosmatos really liked to smoke a lot. That's probably where he got his lung cancer from. because he passed away at
I heard he was a
from-
bigger asshole on Tombstone for some reason. I forgot what it was. I heard he was a bigger asshole on Tombstone.
Yeah, Michael Biehn really got into that.
Yeah. Michael Biehn, like you said, he was Kurt Russell supposedly directed it, and Kosmos was responsible for the shot list. I think that's what he claimed, or he ghost directed it.
Yeah, that's why I heard rumors that Stallone ghost directed this film.
Jack.
Jack Craig.
Yeah,
Jack.
Cobra.
It was based on the novel Fair Game, and by the way, they actually in a way kind of did a remake the Cobra, but using the original story of the book Fair Game, of course, with William Baldwin and Sidney Crawford, which didn't do well.
I've never seen it, but I've always heard about it.
I haven't played watched.
But you know what? I haven't seen it myself, but I know but I know there's a scene where they're talking about William Baldwin's character. He said, "Good work, Sly."
I've seen it around like every time I go to like a pawn shop or a secondhand store. I see it on the shelf. It always pops up here and there.
Oh,
But
you
I
know
never,
what?
picked it up.
And you know who was the villain in that movie? The same villain in Beverly Hills Cop and Rambo. Speaking of Stallone and Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
Stephen Burkoff.
Yeah, he was the villain in Fair Game. He was the villain.
That's interesting.
Hell of a connection, huh?
Yeah.
And apparently, I didn't know until this like recently when I watched the Brian Thompson interview. At the very end, he mentioned about how like his daughter was a horse trainer and trained Stallone's daughters how to ride a horse.
Yeah, I saw that interview. It was on the special edition DVD.
I'm like, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that they had reunited in the past few years.
I didn't get that far enough in the interview. I watched like maybe
Brian Thompson, he's one of those villains who definitely stole the show. I mean, his presence.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the knife, because the idea for that knife, because they wanted something memorable. So if you make the weapon memorable, you kind of make the villain memorable in some sense.
Yeah. Like nowadays, you just don't see that. You know, they would try
Of
to
course,
Even
that
when
scene-
he's
that
under
scene- that
disguise,
scene-
he's creepy.
Yeah.
He dyes his hair black and all that, and
The slick back with the glasses. I don't know why, but that it was just like, whoa, that's creepy looking.
at first when I watched it, I thought he was going to take out that nurse that was in the elevator. That just
I did too.
Yeah.
I always thought that. Yeah. But of course that goes to the scene. Speaking of the hospital scene, that's where the slasher elements come in. You know, because when Bridget Nielsen, Bridget Nielsen does a good job acting. I don't know why she gets a lot of flack for that. Her acting was good. I don't get why.
I liked her in the movie.
She was a likable character in the movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, likable. I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
And I like the fact that her character is a model, because her model, in her spare time. Because when
I think she was a model in real life. I think.
Yeah, she was. Because Stallone was so obsessed with her, he liked putting her in so much of his movies.
And by the way, Jack, he left this here. Flow drafts in the script library archive. But I mean, and we talked about the sound. I mean, we've been kind of going all over the place here, but we talked about the soundtrack too.
Yeah,
most definitely. Very, very an underrated movie with an underrated soundtrack. I mean, of course, you got of course the first song I remember hearing from the soundtrack. Of course, "Feel the Heat" from that. What's his name? Gene
Bavador or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, "Voice of America's Sons." The
Robert Tepper, "Angel of the City."
Yeah. Yes, that is the
and those robots only had a small attitude problem.
Hey, Jamie, hope you're doing well.
Sorry, go on. Well, I didn't even cut you off. So
yeah, no problem. Yeah, "Angel of the Sea." That every time you see a video about Cobra, they always use that song. So that is the perfect song because it kind of represents the mood of the movie and the character of what Cobra is. He's like the angel of the city. He's watching over the city. I thought that was a good follow up for Robert Tepper right after Rocky IV, No Easy Way Out. I just saw recent interviews of Robert Tepper on YouTube. He seems like a very cool guy. He talked about Sly and Rocky IV and Cobra and how No Easy Way Out did well, but just like with the movie Cobra, Angel of the Sea didn't do that much. But because thanks to his cult following, it's starting to get recognized. Robert Temper, he's a really cool guy. He's still performing in clubs. He seemed like a very cool guy. I hope he gets a comeback, maybe do another soundtrack. If they do a sequel to Cobra, I'd love to see him on the soundtrack. Definitely. He seems like a very cool guy.
I was going to ask, like,
I mean, is he still singing to this
Yeah,
day?
he's still singing.
Yeah.
Like I say, he's still performing at clubs, you know. He still got that voice, you know.
there's a video on YouTube where he's in a club singing No Easy Way Out.
And Angel of the City, too.
But he sings that. Okay, I got to watch it now. I was going to ask, like, you know, like, I was looking at the reviews on IMDb. Like, why is it that a lot of people, like, I mean, I don't know what, like, nowadays, I mean, of course these are older reviews, but like, why did it seem for a while there like a lot of people crapped on this movie or belittled Cobra?
Who knows?
Because it's like an example of early wokeness. It was like before. It was like wokeness before it was woke. And of course, even in the 80s, all these action movies, they always badmouth these movies. Always the silly and cheesy, big muscular guys. What the fuck do you expect, man? Well, yeah, that's the thing. Everybody wants to expect some. I love all kinds of movies. They expect a fucking masterpiece or some artsy fartsy Oscar-winning caliber. That's not what Cobra is. Not what it's meant to be. Get that to your.
A lot of people expect that nowadays. They're like, well, there's no. We don't know a lot about the character. We don't know the backstory.
So fucking
Where's
what?
the
That's
backstory?
what's cool about the characters. You
Yeah.
don't know anything. Did you know about
Or
the
just
man with
has
no name?
one-liners.
You expect they call him the man with no name for no reason. You don't need to know. That's what's cool about you. Some things are better left unknown. Enough of that.
Well, I think, in regards to Quinn's question, I think it's some of the early reviews on IMDb, how people, okay, for example, people are like, if this is the cure, keep the disease. Like, it's a very stupid 80s action movie, or, you know, it's so bad it's good, or awesomely bad and hilarious.
The rating's 5.8, so
You know what? If they're gonna say it, you know, if they're gonna say that, then they're the real fucking disease, and we're the fucking cure because we know good fucking movies.
Or they call it junk at a time. You know, I mean,
Whatever.
again,
I thought it was the
fuck ever.
opposite of. I thought it was the opposite of a generic action movie. I thought it had a lot of things that stuck out in it. I love even the gun that Stallone uses, how it has the Cobra engraved on the handle. I thought that was pretty cool.
okay,
You know what? I actually bought that grip on eBay, and I put it over a 45 Colt airsoft gun, and it looks badass. I actually have it, so I kind of have the Cobra
Oh,
gun.
that's sick, dude.
okay,
Yeah.
I could real quick kind of like
I
read
think I've
this
shown
one.
this before. My Rambo First Blood Part 2 knife.
Oh, dang.
There you go. There
Okay.
you go. And you can also get the Gem Mag. I found this guy on YouTube, Alan's Airsoft. He actually has the Jetomatic machine gun that he used with the laser scope, and you can go and buy it. It's out of stock now, but he said he's gonna get some more. So when he gets some more, I'm definitely gonna buy it. Alan Airsoft is his name. I saw it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Now, can you
I mean,
get
if they make the weapons memorable. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you can. I was going to ask, like with the knife from Cobra, can you get a replica of that?
Yeah, I know someone. There was a website that you can buy it. I know Rambo Rat for Life. He has one.
Okay. Are we going to say Nate?
Oh, I was just gonna say that even the weapons aren't generic. Like, I even love the gun that he puts together at the end of the movie with the lasers.
The
sight. It's
Jetomatic.
just-
The Jetomatic.
Yeah, very, very unique. Like stuff that's memorable. That's why I don't. Some people I've heard say it's just another generic action movie, and I'm like, I disagree. There's so much
What the fuck ever? That's
different stuff
They
in
always,
it.
they always
you
say
know?
they judge a book by its cover. They always judge a book by its fucking cover. Don't go deep into it.
Yeah, they prefer nowadays. You know, they prefer the movies of now. I mean,
You want
Yeah.
the same shit they're giving this movie, it's the same stuff they like to see in fucking superhero movies. Because those are ones that are fucking generic. You want to talk about generic? Watch those fucking superhero movies now. That's just fucking generic.
well, here's a review from 2013. Okay, I'm not going to go through every bad review on IMDb, and people, you know, can have their own opinions, but this review here gave it a 1 out of 10, calling it inept and incompetent. The movie mangles cliches, mostly unfunny, the worst acting imaginable. Uh, it ain't so bad it's good. It's just inept and incompetent, painful to watch.
Please.
Well, one didn't give it a bad view, but apparently this one review that's like on the main page, they have like a little line where it says falling into a snake pit would be less painless. Painfully bad Sylvester Stallone vehicle that is vile, ugly, and totally empty. The movie knows it's bad, so it tries to win the audience with shock factors and sensationalism, and it fails miserably in its attempts. Tough cop Stallone and partner Renee Satoni try to stop a crazed killer Brian Thompson, yada yada. Stallone has and sums about supermodel Bridget Nielsen up to Stallone to save the exotic beauty. Near worthless, ultimate sick little film. 2 out of 5 stars. So,
What?
kind of
Yeah.
an odd review.
Even
Of
that,
course,
like,
of course, I remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like, guilty pleasure. I mean, I wouldn't even call this a guilty pleasure. I mean,
It's an innocent pleasure, innocent badass pleasure. I'll tell you that right
It's
now.
a fun.
It's just a
They,
fun
they,
movie.
they nominated Stallone for a Razzie for this, and Brian Thompson for best villain at the what fucking Razzies, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say that he got some
Not
Razzies.
for Razzies.
Hell, I even tried to see if I can try to cut my pizza, like put it in the freezer, like Stallone and Cobra. That's how much of an influence.
And people shit on that
Yeah.
on this movie just because of that scene.
we should have
Just
had
because
pizza.
of that one scene.
The pizza where he cuts it with the scissors.
Yeah, they shit on that movie just because of that.
I never heard of that. I mean,
That's news to me.
That shows
of
what a
fair game.
badass character he is. He doesn't give a shit.
So that movie had some drastic re-editing. Interesting. Too bad I know that supposedly Cindy Crawford's character kind of gets naked, but I don't think it was really her. It might have been a body double. But hey, Cindy Crawford was a
Of course, when Cindy Crawford gets naked, you know that's the only thing good about that movie.
I assume you saw it before, Wallman.
I did, yeah.
What'd you think? Fair game.
It was okay. It had moments, yeah. But I like the climax, but
But do you think Billy Baldwin was a good lead? Do you think someone else could have done better? Maybe like Stallone.
They should have made this a sequel to Cobra with Stallone and Cindy Crawford. Maybe it would have been better.
Yeah, it might have done
Well,
better
since
at the
the
box
fact-
office had it been the case. But of course, Stallone
Just
was
the
doing
fact
Assassins
it was
and
based off
Judge
the book,
Dredd.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. He should have done that than fucking Judge Dredd, no doubt.
what do you think? Like, if they made a Cobra 2 back then, whatever, let's say 3 years after the first movie, do you think they should have taken like the Magnum Force approach and have dirty cops be the villains, or maybe?
You know what? I think they should
Could've been.
have done the opposite by evolving the zombie squad, which Stallone is trying to do with if he was hesitant for years because of the backlash it got, but I think he's slowly being humbling more to it, because I saw a video of him. He was introducing the action figure to Cobra, and he talked about
Like, I'm right.
how he wants to do a streaming series focusing on the zombie squad. No, Sly, do a fucking movie, man. Do a fucking movie with Cobra involving the zombie squad evolving.
You know what? The more I think about it, I mean, as much as I liked Tulsa King, to be honest with you, if he took that same performance, or just make a Cobra series
Exactly.
like Tulsa King,
Yeah.
he maybe should have done
He
that.
should. You know what? Yeah, you know what? You're
Netflix-based
right.
Cobra
You're right.
series.
Yeah, you do a Cobra series, but with the zombie squad.
Yeah, maybe Stallone's training these new recruits, and maybe he's
Yeah,
near
it'll be
retirement,
like how the cult. That's nice. Like had his own army. Cobra has his own army, but instead of a cult, is a army of cops playing by their own rules.
Yeah.
basically guys who are not afraid to get dirty and kind of.
It's kind of like a cop version of the Expendables,
Mhm.
but
almost
do it
with a
better.
vigilante sense in a way. So yeah,
Now, do you think if they had made this into a franchise, it would have like just stuck to a trilogy back in the day, or?
It would depend on what stories they came up with. Look at Dirty Harry; it went off for 5 movies, and the same with the Death Wish; it went on for 5 movies. So it would depend on what kind of stories Stallone wanted to tell. Of course, Rambo. It went on to 5 movies. Of course, Rocky went on to bigger movies. So it would depend. It depend. It would depend.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think who would have taken on directing wise. Like
I suggested Richard Donner. He could have
Richard
been.
Donner.
Yeah, what he did with Lethal Weapon, because they were both owned by Warner Brothers. How if you look at the first Lethal Weapon, that gritty environment, it was almost close to Cobra. You know what? I could have seen either Michael Mann or some directors of the Miami Vice TV show because it reminded me of more of a darker, edgier version of Miami Vice. You know, with the neon lights in the dark. You know, the music montages like a music video, like they do on the show. You know, like they did with Angel in the City and Feel the Heat. I could have seen either Michael Mann or any of the directors who did episodes of Miami Vice direct the sequel.
What about Rennie Harlan?
He would have done it. He would have done it. It would be cool if John Woo did it, or John McTiernan did, because he came out with Predator and Die Hard around that time.
And then The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Philip Noyce could have been a good choice because he did Patriot Games.
And it's sad too, because I mean, I know we've kind of talked about this before many times, but I just miss movies like this. You don't get films like this.
But they're coming. But if you look at it, they're coming back. You know, with John Wick, that was a huge success. Of course, Extraction, the Extraction films on Netflix, especially Extraction 2. You guys see have you seen the Extraction movies?
I haven't seen them, but I want to.
Same here. I keep hearing there's.
Oh, you got to check them out. You guys. I mean, I'm telling you, John Wick have saved the action because it's leading on to this series of action films that are completely old school with the video with the camera behind the character. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, a very badass character outside of Thor. It's like Rambo meets John Wick. I mean, of course, the Jack Reacher. It's like it's like because the superhero movies they're failing. I mean, so it's slow. It's like we're slowly growing it's like a slow burn of resurgence to old school action films.
If they don't AI the crap out of this, you know, everything that's going on. Because
of course we got Mission Impossible.
Don't give them any ideas.
Part 1.
I saw it.
How'd you like it?
How was it? I've only watched the first one.
You saw what? Right? I saw Dead Reckoning a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, Mission Impossible. Yeah, of course, Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. And Top Gun Maverick.
You like
Top
it?
Gun Maverick. That was a huge example of old school. By the way, speaking of Top Gun, you know, Cobra came around the same. Cobra kind of has a connection with Top Gun because Cobra came out around the same time as the first Top Gun around May, and Top Gun beat Cobra. That's why every time an anniversary of the original Top Gun or the new sequel or the sequel comes around in May, I think it's the perfect time to acknowledge an anniversary of Cobra in May. It came around the same time, and just like Top Gun had a very iconic soundtrack. I mean, it's like Top Gun took away Cobra's thunder, because I love Top Gun, but I think it's definitely the perfect time for people to acknowledge Cobra more.
Now, Wildman, since you're here, now I know this was a hit, but they considered it a disappointment. Do you know anything about that, or maybe Jack knows? Because I think this was a hit, but it's not what they expected it.
Yeah, apparently, according to WB.
Yeah, I remember you and me and Rambo Raf. We did a discussion about it. Didn't do as they hoped. It was a hit, but they thought they were expecting another Rambo or something.
It wasn't a Rambo.
You can't do the same move.
It wasn't a Rocky.
Cobra was his own thing. Exactly. Cobra was his own thing, and people didn't realize that. And because of that, Stallone wanted to do a sequel, but because of the backlash, it really he was very hesitant for years, but it took him a long time to slowly humble after that. So hopefully, since he still looks like he still has some more in him, he should definitely do Cobra 2. Because we were supposed to, we can't get a Dirty Harry. I mean, so we definitely need a Cobra. Why not?
Or yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Tulsa King, he's good in, but if I had in some kind of like different universe or world, I'm like, Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Cobra brought back this way.
Yeah, and don't put any more woke bullshit in there, and keep it within. Treat the
Absolutely.
treat the character with respect, and have him at least be a mentor, a teacher of some kind that can, influence these young recruits, and go from
Just
there.
like Top Gun Maverick, and just like Cobra Kai. Cobra, like I said, this will always go back to Cobra Kai. Every time they do a nostalgic,
Copland's
they
great.
do something nostalgic.
I need to see that movie.
Yeah, and but it goes back to Cobra Kai, because ever since Cobra Kai, it became a great example how you can go back and reboot something and do it right. And I really just like, and you can tell Top Gun Maverick took from that. You could tell partly that Ghostbusters Afterlife took part from that, and you can tell. I truly believe if they follow up with Cobra Kai and Top Gun Maverick, they can make Cobra a perfect sequel.
I was going to ask too, like, why? I mean, we always talk about Top Gun 2 and Cobra Kai. Like, why is it that 9 times out of 10 they fail to capture that success?
Because,
I don't know. I think modern films are just always trying to promote the message and
because they don't. If you look at it, they don't give a shit about these movies. They don't give. They just want to make money, and they want to put their own woke agenda, they want to preach, and
maybe
they
oversaturation.
don't give a shit about these movies.
There's just so many of them.
something about or something about the patriarchy and that bullshit. So,
yeah, because Cobra nowadays, I mean, if they brought him back, it would be considered problematic.
Yeah, or they'll try to cancel it and say it's racist.
What the fuck, everybody, the world knows that they're problematic. Why do you think their stock is failing now, especially Disney and Hollywood? Why do you think they're on strike now? This whole shutdown.
I forgot. Remember with Rambo 5 when that came out, they called the film racist. So,
yeah.
Look, there was a, speaking of that, it's funny because it's funny because if you look at Rambo 5, it's like it would have been better for a Cobra movie, because if you look in the movie Cobra, do you remember the scene where he's trying to park his car and these two Hispanic American characters are in his way. He pushed them out, and no one bitched about that. When he tears the shirt off and he's like, "Clean up your act." No one bitched about that shit. Now you're bitching about the shit in Rambo 5. Get the fuck out of here.
Now, speaking of that scene, is that scene where, like, for a brief millisecond, you see like the mic underneath the shirt?
Yeah,
that's one. It's one of those acting. That's one of those Hollywood fuck ups, they call it. Or some may say that that guy was an undercover cop and Cobra blew his cover.
The Quinn, Indy 5.
I don't know if they spent 500 million, but 400 million is, they say somewhere between 300 to 400 million. I guess that includes the marketing, but geez.
Cobra will wipe the floor with Indiana Jones.
Did you see the new Indy film, Wild Man? Or
no, I was hesitant. But I saw some clips, especially the end scene. It's like, I'm so fucking glad I didn't go see that. Harrison Ford, what the fuck are you doing? God, man, stop! I'm telling you, stop with the pot smoking. Get your ass off the Pineapple Express. It's about to get derailed. Knock it off with the weed.
People are still saying it's better than Crystal Skull, from what I've heard. People are like, "Oh, it's still better than Crystal Skull."
Is 10 times fucking better.
I still like Crystal Skull, but I didn't actually hate Indy 5, but I have my issues with it for sure. In fact, I'm going to be doing a discussion this Sunday, John, and if you want to come in, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to do it at 12:30 my time. Hopefully that's okay with you.
Well, midnight?
No, in the afternoon.
Oh, during the day? Yeah, I'll pop in.
Yeah,
I know. I think because I wanted to rant or talk about Indy 5, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm trying to,
and then find out some other stuff.
The era of flopbusters. Yeah, apparently that's a new term.
Yeah, exactly.
Requels.
I hear a lot of people say the only good thing about Indy 5 was the first 5 minutes, because of the fact when the AI scenes with Indy.
The de-aging, some of it was good, but some of it I noticed was the de-aging was really noticeable, especially when he was in motion.
Yeah, the de-aging through the whole movie looked like shit, but when they took the bag off his head, it looked perfect. It looked like they took Harrison Ford. They went back in time and got a young Harrison Ford and brought him into the future.
Mhm.
When he took the bag off his head, it was like wow. But the rest of it is just like shit.
Well, certain parts when he was in the train, when he was trying to kind of blend in with the Nazis, there was actually some parts of it that looked good, but parts whenever he had the rope around his neck and trying to get out of there, it definitely looked noticeable. So yeah,
So
it was a mixed bag at some point.
That's the fear of any kind of future with Cobra. Like, for one, I think it's too late, but also two, they would just deep fake Sly in there like they did with ND5, and I mean,
or the young sidekick and Stallone's in the background and
fuck that,
guy.
the young sidekick. especially with that bitch in Indy 5 going back to Indy 5. That fucking bitch.
She'll probably be Cobra's partner.
Fleabag Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, Fleabag. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of her character, that's for sure.
It'd be called Cobra and Fleabag.
They should have brought back Short Round. They should have brought back Harrison Ford wanted to bring back Short Round, but they said no. It would have been 10 times better is when it comes to sidekicks.
They should have done it during the reshoots. I think that could have made the film even better if they brought him back.
Yeah. I mean,
but you know what? If you're gonna do it right, get someone who cares about the material. That's how there are some filmmakers out there who grew up with this type of stuff, who care about the material, and so put that in the hands of people who really give a shit. That's how you can.
Why wasn't Spielberg involved? Does anybody know why?
Probably because of KK, more than likely.
Yeah.
All right.
I forgot my question.
I'm so fucking done with. I can't.
Oh God.
I can't.
Well, let's say if Lucasfilm does get rid of Kennedy, I would have an idea on how to do an Indy 6, but I can probably discuss that when we do our discussion on Indy 5.
Yeah, be careful, Wild Man. Don't explode the planet, Wild Man.
Does anybody know why Spielberg wasn't involved with this Indiana Jones?
I'll keep it.
Well, Nate, if you heard me, I think it had something to do with probably KK more than likely.
Oh, okay.
From what I understood, apparently, according to some other people that were discussing it, supposedly it was going to have more Karen Allen and Indy, but apparently, who knows? Kennedy probably didn't want that and wanted her own self-insert version of her character in the films. So, yeah.
Okay.
And they kill off Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Kill off Shia LaBeouf. He dies in Vietnam. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. In my retcon version, I would say that would not happen.
If you're going to do a movie about time travel, why couldn't you just do something like Back to the Future where he goes back in time to save his son?
Yeah, he even mentioned that in the film itself, but they chose not to go that route. They chose not to go that route. So,
but it kind of goes back to
what's funny. Going back to the I'm sorry,
Cobra.
You about to say something?
I was going to say a lot of the good stuff that we mentioned, Cobra Kai, Top Gun. There's a lot of shows out there too that get great notice. Like if it's good, people will gravitate to it. But people, I think, are just tired of comic book movies. They're tired of over-budgeted movies.
Way oversaturation of this stuff.
Yeah, oversaturation. I think people are burned out.
And they're definitely tired of agenda-driven movies that belittle the male.
Why you think Hollywood is in the spot it is now? Because they fucked themselves over. It's come back to bite them in the ass. Fucking karma.
Yeah, but I was getting ready to say that too.
Maybe this is good for them because they'll take some time and they'll learn from this shit and they'll come back even stronger and smarter.
Yeah, they'll be thinking, why is Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves doing so well, but our big major Hollywood productions aren't? So maybe that they need to take a look at themselves in the mirror and wash away the woke agenda filth and start fresh and start anew.
They got plenty of time now. Trust me, they got plenty of time now.
And speaking of which, apparently I just read in the Fair Game trivia that Keanu Reeves actually turned down the lead role of Max in the Fair Game movie. Do y'all think he would have been better, Keanu Reeves?
Probably.
I've never seen the film. Better. I really believe it's kind of like his character in Point Break. You know what? That would have been a sequel to Point Break. That would be a good sequel to Point Break. Make that Point Break.
Yeah, change the character up and
or even Speed. His character in Speed. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe since he broke up with Sandra Bullock's character,
it would have been awful if Cindy Crawford was the Sandra Bullock character in Speed. What do you think?
She probably wouldn't have given as good as a performance, but she would have been nice to look at.
Oh yeah.
Keanu turns down a lot of roles.
Yeah. Could have swore that wasn't he maybe going to be asked to be part of the second Fly movie? I could be wrong, or maybe it was just me wishful thinking. That
He was supposed to play the Eric Stoltz character. That would have been awesome. And of course,
Oh, yeah,
the
earlier-
history with Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future.
Yeah, because he was he was in there for like a few weeks, and they replaced him with Michael J. Fox.
And by the way, that I mentioned earlier about the fight, going back to Cobra for a second, at the end where Brian Thompson, he accidentally got hit in the jaw with the butt of the gun, and it left him dazed and groggy. And the stunt crew huddled around Thompson to hide the fact that he had been really hurt. Like he got busted up in his mouth, he got his right cheek, he got bruised.
Oh,
Like by Stallone.
I think you can see it in the film when Stallone hits him with the. And
They
I
didn't
gotta
even-
say the
let's say
way
they didn't make up.
and I gotta say the way the villain gets it, one of the best villain come uppers of all time. He hooks him up.
Yeah.
They're the most
That
painful
was
death you
definitely
can give a
very
villain in any action movie.
Yeah, and you could tell
He
his
burns him
character-
alive while being
Yeah, he was trying to tough it out, but it probably hurt like nothing like nothing ever before. And plus, when you were talking about how Stallone was really punching him in that gun holster, whatever it was, that gave him a good looking. Apparently, I could have swore it seemed like there was like a moment where he expressed shock at how powerful that was, or something.
Yeah. And I have to ask too, and I know this is probably an obvious question that we've tackled this topic before, but whatever happened to villains like the Night Slasher? I mean, villains that displayed intimidation, fear.
I don't know.
I think
know
it's
if it was
just
a public thing.
a lot of people want more clever villains now, like more guys.
They
who are
want
puppet
more
masters,
depth. Oh, they want
Yeah.
more depth. They want more depth. There's something
They
in
want
his past
someone-
made him look this way. There's humanity. What the fuck ever.
The
Once you
sympathetic
pass
or
the
the
point of
cerebral
Yeah, it's a
type of
sympathetic
villain,
villains,
once you
yeah.
pass
the man
point,
behind
there's
the
no
man
going
behind the
back.
scenes, pulling the strings without having to do all the physical work. That's-
Villains aren't all pure evil. They all have backstories that we all need to
Mhm.
know. It's like, nah, there's some good villains that you don't even know their backstory.
Every
You don't
yeah,
even
every
know
every,
some-
every,
some,
every villain has a
just
backstory,
mysterious.
but when
Maybe
you
that's
pass
the
that
better way.
point, no return. Who gives a fuck?
It's like the first half they're a villain, the second half it's like, okay, they're kind of improving, and then by the end they redeem themselves. Like
or villains
Yeah,
are just
that's
carbon
what-
copies of the heroes in the movie. Like
Yeah.
Marvel does that a lot, where it's
I
just the
will
evil
say
version
that
of this
Cobra Kai
character.
does a great job of giving sympathy to the hero, to the villain, but they don't overdo it. I understand why Cobra Kai does that, but they don't go too much into it. You can sympathize with him, but you don't have. But they don't forget that he's the villain, like with John Kreese and Terry Silver. But they done a good job giving us a little sympathy, but they don't overdo it.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
didn't fully see it, but I saw how they did something with Martin Cove's character where he's talking with the therapist and he's starting to remember his past. And there was a woman there that kind of brought a little bit of humanity to him in a sense. If anyone
That was a good
saw
scene.
Oh wow, I didn't know this. Apparently, okay, so I just saw this in the trivia. I'm throwing this in here, and how much this is true, I don't know. But apparently, Al Young was initially cast as one of the lead villains.
Oh my
In
god!
Cobra?
Really?
in Cobra.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That guy is the king of henchmen, man. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. He was in Escape from L.A. That would have been awesome if we showed a glimpse of him, man. Oh my god, man.
It says his role was eliminated following protests by an advocacy group that objected to the casting of an Asian villain.
Oh please! It was the 80s. A lot of Asian actors were doing a lot of action films and martial arts. What the fuck are you talking about? Asian actors were still getting some independence. What the fuck?
Yeah. I'm just
Early
kind of like
wokeness.
going
That's
through
what that is.
trivia.
Early fucking wokeness. Early fucking wokeness. That's what it was.
I don't know. Do you think he would have been like, how much of a role or time in the film he would have had?
You know what? I believe he would have played the guy in the grocery store who shot everybody up. I believe he would have played that character.
I could see that. Now you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
Stallone
would have
has
seen a
called
better acting performance from him. Yeah.
Stallone has called this character his third favorite character he's ever played, following Rocky and Rambo. You think that's
Well,
always been
good
the
for
case,
him.
or do you,
That's why.
I was going to ask? Do you think that's
I'm
always been
sorry.
the case, or like do you think he's always has said that, or do you think in recent years he's kind of warmed up to it?
You mean
I'm sure.
warmed up to his portrayal of Cobra?
Well, if he says this is his third favorite character, like has that always been the case?
That's
Do
what
you
I'm
think?
wondering.
Yeah.
I often wonder if it was the case. Why didn't he do another one after that? You know,
I think,
know
like
that
I said,
they-
I think it's both. I think it was both because after the backlash that he got, he was he was kind of traumatized, and he wanted to. Of course, he was having problems with Bridget Nielsen, and he was getting divorced, and he felt he didn't want to go back there. But it's nice to see that he's finally growing out of it, and like I said, he just did a video introducing the action figure. And he, of course, in interviews, he's slowly talking about it. But why the fuck it had to take you so long? You could have done it back in the fucking 90s, man. I believe you could still do it, but geez, you took too fucking long, man. You could have done that to Expendables 4.
I'm trying to think like if there was other favorite. What do you think his other favorite characters were? I mean, I have to think that John Spartan is.
I believe I gave Walker in Cliffhanger.
I'm just taking a guess.
I have to say Gabe Walker in Cliffhanger because that was like a different role for him.
Yeah.
I thought Rocky was just a very personal role too, though.
Yeah, I mean that's a
role that he's always going to keep close to his heart, I would imagine.
Yeah, he says
another iconic character, Lincoln Hawk, over the top. Now that's a movie that deserves a sequel because the way how the world of arm wrestling have changed. You know, like with Top Gun Maverick, how the Navy has changed. I want to see an over the top sequel to see how arm wrestling has changed. It's a perfect time.
It would be nice, but sadly that movie flopped.
Yeah, but it's iconic now. It's iconic. You know what? You know what I'm seeing?
Oh, I
you know
enjoy
what I'm
it
seeing
with even if it has its, even though if it has its not so great moments, but I like to see how him and his son would be doing. I'm sure Hawkins' son would have definitely grown in revenue and profit. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, I'm planning to review that, but also I'm thinking about doing like a discussion kind of like this as well for that whenever that comes up.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Definitely. Because I just saw
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that. Speaking of over the top, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to actually say something about over the top. I actually just watched a reaction by TBR Schmidt. They did a reaction to Over the Top.
I was about to mention that too. I was about to mention that. I like that. I like them. They're very sweet.
They're very
I
cute
love
couple.
the reaction.
I have to admit,
really
Samantha's
the
kind of a nice looking woman. So, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I was complimenting Samantha.
Yeah, but after seeing that movie reactions to me are why I see a lot of old movies are getting so researched because I've seen a lot of reactions on YouTube, and mostly they're mostly movies from the old age, like Rambo and Commando and Cobra. They do stuff today, but most of the most popular ones are the older movies. And I'm seeing all these young people today. These reactions are mostly young people, and they're really enjoying these movies. And that gives me a clue that why I love reaction videos so much, because that's the clue that there are people out there that still have love for these movies and they want to see something like this again. They're tired. They're part of that generation where they're of superheroes, and they're getting tired of that. The world is getting tired of that. And seeing these reactions is showing the truth that there are young people out there that they like these movies despite what people say, and they want to see more of this. They every time I see a reactor watching these type of movies, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome! Why can't they do movies like this anymore?" And these are people from this generation, and they want to see more of this.
And now look at where we're at.
Yeah, it's nice to see that there are reactions to the good old days of films that pretty much define the whole genre of Hollywood. You know how they would evolve with the sequels and characters and action sequences. It's nice to see that there's acknowledging that's any kind of in camera practical effects are going to still stand the test of time, and how character building and character growth, how they started from this lowest point to them acknowledging their flaws and learning how to become better individuals in the end.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Sensible
I'm
storytelling.
glad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see that on YouTube from these reactors because they're really enjoying these movies. Even this popcorn in bed, Cassie, she's
I've seen her stuff before.
She watched
Yeah,
Predator. She's one of those. She's like those. Chick flick type of girls, but she's not afraid to watch other movies. She's a very sweet girl. She watched Predator. She really enjoyed. She had a thing for. She liked the character of Billy a lot. She was sad that he died.
Yeah, and believe it or not, TBR Schmidt, they did reaction to Predator, and they did it for Predator 2. So,
yep.
Oh wow.
And and they're doing an Arnold and Stallone marathon. So I hope they do Cobra next, right after, since they did Over the Top.
Yeah.
By the way, the Ali
nice.
Young. Here's a little information from Jack about Ali Young's role.
So you're gonna play a sniper guy who gets burned alive. Wow.
Oh man, that would have been awesome. When Cobra takes the match, he says, "You have the right to remain silent," and throws the match. Oh, can you imagine if that was Al Young, man? Oh man,
Yeah,
that would have been cherry on top, man. Cherry on top.
it would have been cool to see him in the movie. Yeah, I definitely agree with this. CGI peaked in 2009.
Yeah, it was District 9.
District 9 is a good movie. I'll say it's way better than Avatar. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but
I definitely won't forget the unexpected funny scene where they're trying to when they show him butt fucking an alien, or where it looks like he's doing an alien. I remember laughing out loud. I never saw that coming.
I've never seen District 9.
Okay, I didn't mean to spoil
It's
it.
a good
I
movie.
mean,
Speaking of sequels, why didn't we get that? Because because the way it ended, you expected a sequel. What's taking so long?
I don't know. I don't know what took it so long. Something about maybe Sony and maybe Neil. I guess whatever he wrote, I guess wasn't good enough. In fact, there was something written called District 10 or something, but for whatever reason, that never got produced. It was some kind of online Sony hack that's revealed all that stuff, but I don't know what the real main reason why I never got a sequel. It would have been nice if it did. It certainly deserved it. Definitely did reasonably well at the box office because it seemed like Elysium, while it made money, didn't make anywhere near the amount of money that District 9 made. Plus, it cost more to make. In fact, that movie's going to be 10 years old. Then Chappie flopped, and then I just found out that his new film Gran Turismo is coming out sometime later this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer looked okay, I guess, but we'll see. And of course, he was going to do the new Alien film where he would have retconned Alien 3 or 4. But
that pissed me off.
Fox
and
Fox
he was supposed to do RoboCop Returns.
Yeah.
He was supposed to do RoboCop Returns, but they fucked him over.
Megan D just mentioned Neil Blomkamp has been blacklisted for whatever reason. So
I was going to ask you guys, do you guys want to spend a couple more minutes talking about Cobra? Then we can get into all these random topics.
Absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. Let's keep it going. Let's keep feeling the heat.
Yes.
So Bob,
let's kill the disease and we're the cure. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Is there anything like Nate you want to add in there or about?
I did want to say that the ending fight scene between Cobra and the Night Slasher I thought was just really intense. Like, intensity is the first word that comes to mind. I mean, just the look that Brian Thompson has in his eye, and just the way he says like pig. Like, it's just such hatred towards Stallone. And I don't know, one of my favorite ending fight scenes in the factory with all of the heat of the scene. You could just feel it. It's just such a intense scene. I love the ending a lot. The ending's like a big finale. I mean, it's supposed to be its third act, but like it sells it. All the explosions, the action scenes, the shootout scenes, all leading up to the factory, and it just has a great finale. I just wanted to point that out. That was one of my favorite parts, was how it ended. It was just really,
And
impact.
of course, speaking of that
love
scene, Stallone has one of the most iconic lines ever because the look that scene where he's looking at the camera with the red light. When I was a kid, that used to scare me when it was like he was looking at me with the red light on him. And when Brian Thompson says that line, "Court is civilized, isn't it, pig?" And Stallone has that classic line. He goes like, "But I'm not. This is where the law stops. And I start. Sucker." Such an iconic. You could feel it. It's like you can tell Stallone is like he is. You believe that he's this character when he says that because it's like it's something in him. You know, you can tell that you buy it. You buy it. It's not what you say. It's the way you say it. And Stallone has it.
Yeah, Stallone was always great at that. Like he doesn't have to say too much. It's all about body expression and looks. And I especially got that throughout the movie.
Yeah, and I felt like Brian Thompson really brought a good, intense performance in that. Especially this is where he really starts speaking now, because occasionally you see him, but he didn't speak, and then he'll say a line or two. And this is where he actually. That's what's
so cool about his character. That character, yeah.
He's like, especially like how he said, "I want your eyes, pig. I want them," just with that intense glare and stare. And he's like, "Doesn't matter, doesn't it? We kill the weak, so the strong survive." And then he says that, and I love how he says, "We are the future." And then Stallone says, "No, you're history." Definitely a great line right there too, as well.
You don't have many, of course, too many. I was going to say, like, you don't have too many people out there that have that look like Brian Thompson has and that voice.
Yeah, very unique, very different.
Just very,
That's why
very commanding and just. Yeah,
definitely not generic. I don't know why people are saying that, but generic is not the word I would use for this movie at all.
Generic.
You want generic? Watch a fucking Marvel movie.
Or the later Marvel movies. They started off good, but they got really tiresome.
Watch Indy 5.
I watched The Flash, which I'm not going to see. I'm sorry. If you like The Flash, I know that. Well, I mean, you like The Flash. But I just don't like the idea of
the only thing that made the Flash good, and everybody agrees that Michael Keaton came back as Batman. I give him props for that. He stole the show.
I've heard he wasn't quite the same Batman that we're used to, and of course he dies. Then they bring him back, and then he dies again. Why the hell would you do that?
That's Groundhog Day.
There's an alternate ending. That they filmed without George Clooney, and it's Keaton. Yeah.
But I heard about that too, but they of course didn't. Yeah, they should have used that. Maybe that would have gotten me in there. But furthermore, I heard the CGI in there was really awful. Like they supposedly were going to fix it, but they didn't or something.
It's terrible. I've seen the clips. It looks like so game? Unnatural. It's like PS2 type of graphics. Really? It's pretty jaw dropping. I was just like, it looks that bad. They passed that.
The director says, "Oh, it's bad on purpose," but we'll get into that. I mean, my closing thoughts on Cobra. Yeah, it's a classic to me, in my opinion.
It's a fun classic movie. Doesn't matter if it's unrealistic or it has one-liners. It's just downright dirty and fun.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think. I've been going back and rewatching these movies again. Like, this is underrated, but also Over the Top is underrated. Lockup is underrated. And I'm like, is this Stallone's most underrated film?
It definitely is because it definitely is most underrated because after he made it big in the action genre for Rambo. Of course, he was known for Rocky, but that wasn't really an action movie. But Rambo was a huge thing, and he showed he could do more with action than just Rambo, which is one of the reasons why I think is his most underrated. And he wanted to do his own version of Dirty Harry, and he really accomplished that. And we never saw an action movie mix up with a slasher film, and I think that's why it's still, in my opinion, it's Stallone's most underrated movie of his career, most definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like they set a mark out. It set a mark, and no one realizes that. No one acknowledges that it made a mark, and no one knows that. But I can see it now with the reactions I'm seeing on YouTube. It's like it's slowly getting that respect it deserves.
You mean Cobra, right?
And it definitely, and it's just like with Cobra Kai and Top Gun Maverick, these nostalgic legacy sequels. It's the perfect time for Cobra 2. We need the disease has gotten worse. We need the cure again. Come on, Sly, bring Cobra back. We need the cure. We need Cobra.
I would say this is his most underrated action movie.
Mm-hmm.
His most underrated character, I would say, is Lincoln Hawk, and his performance, like underrated performance, I would say is Lockup.
That's a good prison. That's my favorite prison movie.
Yeah.
I have yet to see Nighthawks, but I feel like this is a different take on his, because I believe Stallone played a cop in Nighthawks, and there he plays more of a gritty, aggressive kind of cop that's not afraid to,
I think with Nighthawks, he was trying to do like his version of the French Connection, because there's a lot of homages to the French Connection in that.
Call it the Italian Connection.
Wasn't he more like a by the book type of character, Stallone, his cop character? He wasn't. Is that what you would say?
Yeah,
I haven't seen Knox.
Yeah, it's.
But down the road he got more. Rutger Hauer got so much to his head that he got more vicious when he killed him at the end.
Yeah, but I heard that had a lot of reshoots and everything too, and that was also released by Screen Factory. And there's no deleted scenes or anything like that on there as well. So, but I do have Nighthawks.
Thanks again, Jack. Jack.
That would have been nice to see.
And don't forget his asshole superior, Monty. He was supposed to be part of the cult. And don't forget another connection to Dirty Harry. Andrew Robinson was the villain in Dirty Harry. Mm-hmm. Now he plays the asshole authority figure in this. And of course, don't forget his partner, the guy who plays Gonzalez.
Yeah, Rennie Santoni.
He played the same character named Gonzalez as Dirty Harry's partner. Yeah, Rennie Santoni. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's good. A good throwback to Dirty Harry. And by the way, speaking of Andrew Robinson and Gene, the guy who did the song "Feel the Heat," they're both on Cameo. So Cameo has a Cobra connection on. Those two guys are on Cameo.
That's cool.
So you guys can ask them questions about Cobra. Why have there been a Cobra 2 and stuff? Oh, I think Brian Thompson's on there too. I'm not sure yet.
That'd be cool.
I know that Andrew Robinson was interviewed on this Blu-ray, so I'm just curious to see what his thoughts were.
But I mean, we've talked about this for like the past hour and a half. I don't know where else can we go, but I mean, if you guys want to go into like randomness here, and
what do you think of? Do you think Cosmalos truly directed it? If he did, how do you think he did? Or if you think Stallone truly had directed it, or do you think both directed it in a sense?
I think Stallone took over.
Yeah, because of George's.
I truly believe because Stallone. There was news that Stallone took over ghost directing Rambo 2.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Damn. So Cosmos really didn't really oversee or direct a whole lot in that movie, huh?
Yeah. It's probably fetching Sly's coffee.
Probably. Are you sure that Kathleen Kennedy wasn't there too?
Mr. Stallone, I at 2 sugars, right?
Yeah.
No, 3.
Speaking of drinks with Stallone, I heard this. I'm not sure if this is true. It's funny. It'll be funny that it is. That one of the reasons why he left the Beverly Hills Cop project is because he was in his trailer and he didn't like the orange juice they were serving him.
He forgot to shake it up.
It's too watery. Not enough orange in there.
This OJ is not good. This OJ Simpson. I don't want to drink it.
Too much pulp.
Not enough pulp.
Yeah, not enough pulp. Yeah.
Where's the vodka?
Yeah.
Yes, you needed some Sky vodka in there.
Let me ask you guys this question involving Cobra. If Cobra was made today without any wokeness or any of that shit, who do you see playing the characters, not just as Cobra, but the other characters? Who you see? In my opinion, I could see Keanu Reeves maybe as Cobra because of John Wick.
Carl Urban,
maybe.
I was gonna say either him or Frank Grillo. He might be good.
Oh, I love that guy. That guy deserves a better career. I just saw that movie he did called what's it called, Wheelman on Netflix. That guy is badass. He deserves a bigger career. I love that guy. I heard he's an MMA fighter. I love that guy. He's like a mixture of Stallone and Mickey Rourke, a young Mickey Rourke. I love that guy.
Yeah, he was definitely good. He was definitely good in the Purge sequel. I know he's in the third one. So.
You know what? You know, a lot of people mentioned the movie Drive, how it was inspired by Cobra. That's what the movie Wheelman reminded me of. He kind of reminded me of Cobra. Did you guys know about this story about the movie Drive? How it was inspired by Cobra with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, I think the director is a fan of Cobra.
But for some reason he said this is Cobra done right. Wait, what the fuck? Done right? What the fuck are you talking about? Done right, done right up your ass. Done right up your ass.
Our characters are more diverse and complex.
Maybe Stallone's Cobra will come alive and tell him, "How dare you? You are diseased, and I'm definitely the cure."
Absolutely.
I said Carl Urban should play the new Cobra. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
You guys don't want Vin Diesel? Vin Diesel?
No fucking way. Enough of Vin Diesel. Who you think should play the Night
He could be a good villain. Maybe not as a hero.
Crime is a disease. Family is the cure. Is that the tagline?
Oh, Dave Bautista as Cobra?
No, he could probably be the new Night Slasher, but just a lot more.
Who do you think should play the Night Slasher? I know I can definitely see Triple H. I can see Triple H because when I watched him on WWE, he
had what the Night Slasher would have a sledgehammer.
Yeah, because they had a lot of weapons in that movie. They had axes, they had hammers, they could have sled. They could have had sledgehammer. Triple H, he could definitely pull it off. He has that intensity.
Yeah, instead of clanking axes in the movie, they'll be clanking sledgehammers.
Whenever he walks onto a scene, they just start playing.
Don't forget, Peter Gabriel is going to cameo because he did a song called "The Sledgehammer."
We're gonna have a lot of Motorhead in the soundtrack.
Peter Gabriel,
the Ace of Spades.
Omega G0 mentioned something interesting. Scott Adkins, maybe. I'm sure he could.
That'd be cool if Cobra was a martial arts. I always thought he would play a better James Bond because he would add martial arts to James Bond. He would be cool if he added martial arts to Cobra. That would have been badass. That guy deserves a bigger career. I love that guy. Him as Cobra with martial arts. Why the fuck not? Oh my god.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I can't help. Did you see the pictures of the new Seven Dwarfs?
What are you talking about? This a new Snow White movie?
Yeah, the new Snow White movie.
You should be able to share it, I think.
There's a new Snow White movie?
Yeah, I didn't even really know.
What?
I know we're getting off topic here.
I didn't even know about this.
I'll screen share it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Are they going to be like the Foogly Ugly Turtles like we saw Michael Bay's Abomination of the Turtles?
Oh God, no.
My God.
I see in the background you're using the scene where Cobra is drinking Coors beer. It's kind of like it's funny because it's like a homage to Cobra Kai and Cobra and the word Cobra is both in the titles. It's funny, Johnny likes to drink Coors beer. I bet you they took the idea from Cobra. I bet you they took the idea from that of Johnny drinking Coors.
You're gonna want a beer after seeing this.
What happened? What the fuck, man? What is this?
Are they doing a safety dance or something for the 80s?
I was just about to say.
Safety dance. You can dance if you want to. We don't need that behind.
Thank
the little one. Is this supposed to be
for this fucking Hollywood shutdown, man? Thank the universe for this fucking shutdown in Hollywood. I am so glad.
Maybe they should reshoot it, just like whenever Stallone fired Russell McKay off of Rambo 3 because he hired pretty boys as third-rate pretty boy models for the Russian shoulders.
You know what? That speaking of that, before the strike, Hugh Jackman was doing Wolverine with Deadpool 3. I can see Hugh Jackman as Cobra, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
He done a good job with Wolverine. He done a good job with Wolverine. It would have been awesome if he did something with Cobra,
And I saw him in the yellow suit. Doesn't look too bad, but
thank God. I
know a lot of people are saying that it should be sleeveless. Why are there sleeves? But
the song says, it's about damn time. Oh man, he looks amazing.
They could thank Peter Dinklage because he's the guy that says that they shouldn't cast little people. Well, there you go. Look what happens.
Yeah.
So.
This looks like fucking Hamilton. What?
This looks like like a bad production of a.
Is this from Disney? Is this an actual Disney production?
Oh god,
Yeah,
no fucking surprise. No surprise if it's from Disney. No surprise. But you know what? They're shut down now.
Oh
so
yeah.
who cares?
But here's one good news, or what I'm surprised by. I'm surprised there's no transgender actors in there, unless there is.
Oh man, there would be a riot. Okay,
Yeah, but not
going back to
they're not
the
dwarves anymore.
going back to who you would cast in Cobra. Who you think should play the model Ingrid?
I know who definitely should play her. Sydney Sweeney. I know you would. I know you.
You read my fucking mind. She's a good actress. I will say she's not just eye candy. She's a good actress. I'm gonna tell you. I see why people like her so much. She's not just eye candy. She's a very good fucking actress. She just did that movie, Reality. You know the movie Reality about the woman who, reality winner who got arrested because of something with the election with Hillary Clinton and Trump. I think it was. I saw some clips. She is a good, of course, and she done some good. She got nominated for an Emmy for Euphoria. She's a good fucking actress.
I would say the Peyton was it Peyton List? Maybe you could have her.
Yes, I can see her, but definitely.
Mega G. We should do a hashtag. Bring back dwarfs.
Bring back little people. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring back little people.
Yes.
Oh,
and please, nobody mention Megan Fox or Amber Heard. Nobody mention Megan Fox or Amber Heard to play Ingrid. Please, no.
One thing, I know that Time mentioned that apparently Amber Heard and Megan Fox didn't get along or had a rivalry. And
I was aware of that. Yeah.
Can you imagine Cobra happened to protect Amber Heard? And then,
God, I can see him protecting Sydney Sweeney, but no Megan Fox or Amber Heard, none of those two. And you put her in Expendables 4, speaking of Stallone.
Thank God it's not Amber Turd. Otherwise, I'd boycott and say, kick that turd.
I would love to see Sydney Sweeney in Expendables movie. She's a mixed martial artist. She's trained in mixed martial arts. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, she probably should have been cast in that
Sydney Sweeney in Expendables movie because she's trained in martial arts.
Yeah, Mega G even said, Sweeney, Mamma Mia.
Or fucking Cynthia Rothrock. She would have made a good partner for Cobra. Why not? What? Give us Cynthia Rothrock a break, man. I would see her in the Zombie Squad. Why not?
Or like I said, like you even said before, we need to get Jeff Speakman in there. He deserves a shot again.
Yes. Get him in Cobra Kai too. They fucked that guy over for years.
Get the strength-based.
I can see him as the villain. I can see him as a villain. Have a villain who knows martial arts.
He could be Terry Silver's brother. Perfect, right there.
That'll be good. But Jeff Speakman, I can see him as a Cobra villain because you always had these villains who knows martial arts, and the hero he just knows a regular brawl, like John McClane in Die Hard. Die Hard 2, like the character of William Sandler's character in Die Hard 2. He was all the martial arts, and McClane was like he was beating his ass. But I loved in Die Hard 4 where he kind of gives a comeback when he says, "That's enough of this kung fu shit." You can tell he was thinking about the scene in Die Hard 2 in his head when he said, when he jumped the girl, he's like, "That's enough of this kung fu shit." And he just snapped.
I think she probably blew Nicolas Cage for all I know.
I've never seen Drive Angry, but I've heard of it. And I forgot Amber Heard is in that. But is there any more Cobra we can talk about?
But you know what? I can see one of Stallone's daughters play Ingrid. Because one of them is a good actress, I heard. I can see one of Stallone's daughters playing the character of Ingrid. Because one of them is a model and an actress. So I'm not sure. I think it's Scarlett.
I haven't seen too many of her stuff.
I was going to say in the Cobra movie, there was another song that I do like. It's called "Hold On to Your Vision" by Gary Wright.
I forgot about that one.
And then
Gary is a good fucking song. Mm-hmm. Dream Reaver. He did that song in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And that's a very good song. It's a very inspirational song. Hold On to Your Vision. That's what it's a very. That's the song that's playing when she's driving out and she sees the Night Slasher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently from what I saw in the credits, James Newton Howard wrote that song. I'm assuming it's the same guy who composed a lot of films later on. So.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I saw that in the credits. And then apparently I know that Gary Wright did another song that I liked called "Am I the One?" that was on the North Shore movie, if anyone even knows what I'm talking about. It had Matt Adler, Nia Pepples. I'm sure that name might ring a bell to some.
Yeah, I will say
Never
no one
seen it.
mentions the love songs in Cobra. I love the songs that Bit Midley and Gladys Knight, Loving on Borrowed Times, and Two into One. Those the two love songs in the movie. Those are very sweet songs. And of course, Bill Midley, he did the song for Rambo 3. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, and he did a version of he did the original version of You Lost That Loving Feeling, and then he did his an 80s version of that. He should have took that version he made in the 80s and put it in the new Top Gun movie, the sequel, because of the fact that it's very nostalgic to the 80s and Top. It would have been awesome if they played in Top Gun Maverick. It would have been awesome if they played Take My Breath Away. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still performing.
Okay, he's still. I didn't know if he was alive or still performing. So.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, wait a second.
Don't forget, we got to mention the video game. Remember, anybody remember the video game for C64, Commodore 64?
I've never played it.
There was a Cobra game?
It's I saw it on YouTube. It was for the old computer, Commodore 64. It's a stroll down, and he used a knife, but later on you pick up the guns, and it plays a very unused song that was in this that they didn't use in the movie for the soundtrack. It's called Skyline. Beautiful song. They didn't use it. If you listen to it,
okay, maybe
it's a very beautiful song.
Skyline. I know that what's his face. Oliver Harper did a review for Cobra retrospective. So yeah.
That's the first time I've heard of it.
What's up?
What about the video game?
That's the first time I've heard of the video game.
Maybe that's when I sort of heard about the video game, because Oliver Harper always, when he does his retrospectives, sometimes if there was a video game based on it, he'll definitely briefly talk about it. So if anyone's familiar with his channel.
I want to see a Cobra video game done today because it's a bit because video games are becoming a big trend out of the comic book era. Like thanks to Super Mario Brothers, like they're moving on from comic books to video games. And I think video games are going to become the new comic books because it's going to be a huge trend in Hollywood thanks to Super Mario Brothers. I want to see a Cobra video game done right with Stallone coming back, lending his voice.
That could work. Maybe that could be his way of doing a sequel if he can't do a live action sequel.
Absolutely.
Video game.
Like they did with the Thing, like they did with the Thing, or like they did with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we did get maybe somewhat of a third movie with Harold Ramis since he did lend his voice, but it would have been nice if we did a live action.
And of course, don't forget we were supposed to get a Dirty Harry game, but something happened with that. I don't want to go to that bullshit right now.
Man,
greenlit that fucking game while Clint's still alive.
It's interesting the stuff you can find on Twitter, but apparently back in 2002. There was a Tremors video game in development for PlayStation 2. And there's pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And it got canceled or something?
Yeah, I'll have to I'll put it in a community post. But
that would have been nice.
What a fucking waste. A fucking waste.
Believe it or not, when Oliver Harper did his review of Congo, that's his more recent review, they actually did a video game for the Super NES, and I think the Sega.
I remember that one.
And they canceled it, but of course, some parts of the game did leak on YouTube at some point.
Yeah, I'll put a picture of it later.
Yeah, sure. You get to play Ernie Hudson's character, which was cool.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that he was based on like Sean Connery's. They were trying to get Sean Connery to play like a Quartermain character, of King Solomon Mines, but of course he didn't, but he would do that in League of
Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was his last film, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget, he got to play James Bond again in the From Russia with Love video game. Speaking of video games, that was his last performance. He made up for that.
Are you gonna say something, Nate?
Oh, I was just gonna let you guys know that I had to head off, but
no problem.
I just wanted to say that it's been fun hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Love Cobra, and
it's been a pleasure. Nice to see you.
And nice to meet all you guys too.
Nice to meet you too, Nate. If you want on Sunday, you feel free to stop by my live stream discussion of Indy 5 if you want, but it's up to you. I don't know if you're
Okay.
it's up to me. So.
Yeah, sure, man. Thank
It's
you.
gonna be on a Sunday. It's gonna be around noon. It's gonna be 12:30 my time. I don't know what time it is right now. I don't know what state you're in. So,
I'm Eastern, so
probably be 1:30 your time.
okay. All right, I got you,
Okay.
man. Thank you guys.
Alrighty.
Appreciate
Take
it.
it easy. Have a good one. Okay.
Have a good one,
too.
mate.
Stars,
See
be
you
careful.
guys.
Don't let Jason get you.
Don't let
get you.
Jason or the teenagers seduce you too much. So
Yeah, you better watch your back. Yeah. Yeah.
always be on the
Copy that,
lookout.
guys.
Have a machete with you if you have to.
Watch out for the
All right,
night
Jason
yeah.
flash.
Stars.
All right.
out.
Thank you guys.
Ladies
Have
and
a good
gentlemen.
night.
See you in the stars.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Yeah, and also going back, Friday the 13th. That's another good video game they made recently. They made it back back in the time of Nintendo, but they made a good one, bringing back King Hada doing the motion capture. They did. That was a very good game.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what else to talk about. Man, what do you guys want to do from here?
What about the car?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the car, the Mercury.
Yeah. Before the days of Fast and Furious, he had that boost.
Way before that
The
shit.
Nitro.
Yeah. Or even before No Man's Land. The Nitro.
Yeah, the Nitro. I don't know how we forgot about the car. We've been talking about everything else, and I'm like, man, I know we're forgetting something.
Yeah,
And
the nice
the
car.
car chase. Don't forget the car chase.
Yeah.
The car chase, for fuck's sake. How can we forget the car chase?
Yeah.
One of the most underrated car chases in history. It could beat
Mhm.
Bullet. What Bullet started, Cobra took it further, man. I mean, that car chase, man. One of the most underrated car chases in here. You got Bullet, you got the French Connection, you got To Live and Die in LA. Why isn't Cobra car chase up there? Very underrated car chase. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when they're driving up and they jumping up the hills and they hit one of the street lights. It turns into sparks. That was badass.
Yeah, I have to admit it was edited pretty well. It was edited pretty well, and I noticed there was no goofs in the shots. Like you saw whatever it was in camera. It's practical. I think it still holds up. It's like they also threw in a little bit of Bullet. If anyone remembers that movie.
Yeah, Bullet's a good one.
Mhm.
Bullet led the way. Steve McQueen, man.
Mhm.
He was like the first big action star. I believe if it wasn't for Steve McQueen, we wouldn't have the action stars we had today, because he was like his characters in real. He lived on the edge. He did his own stunts. You could tell Stallone was like a throwback to Steve McQueen, because he did his own stuff. He did his own stunts. He did everything. Steve McQueen, man, what a fucking legend, man. He led the way for guys like Stallone to do their own stuff. They don't have no body doubles. He did his own thing, just like Stallone.
I'm trying to think if I got The Great Escape. I haven't fully watched it, but I know he's in it. And of course, I've definitely seen Bullet. I've also seen The Getaway for the most part.
The Getaway, man, that is a very bad. I know they did a remake with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, but you know what? Steve McQueen, that was Steve McQueen's thing, man. Steve McQueen was the man. He was cool.
And of course,
And
Papillon
Stallone
with
kind
him
of
and Dustin Hoffman.
has that personality. I'm sorry.
Mhm. I was
Say
saying that he also
But
did
Stallone,
Papillon. Steve McQueen, Papillon. So yeah.
Wow.
And he did Lamaze. Speaking of racing movies, we got this Gran Turismo. Steve McQueen did his own racing movie, Lamaze. You know, he was into racing. I tell you, this guy, Tom Cruise, Stallone, none of those guys wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Steve McQueen, because he was the guy. He Jackie Chan, Steve McQueen did it first, because he did his own. He did his own stuff. No stunt doubles, no nothing. He did his own driving stunts. No wonder they call him the King of Cool. He was the King of Cool, man.
I was going to say, and it's unfortunate
sorry,
too,
go
you don't have cool car chases anymore like they used to. Now
Mhm.
it's like, look how far they want to
Fast
take.
and Furious.
Yeah, Fast and Furious. They've already done it.
Shit.
Did anyone see the recent one?
No.
No, I'm done. I'm fucking done with that franchise. I'm done.
Yeah, it's. I to be honest, I want to have another Jason movie. We haven't had that since 2009.
Yeah. Or Freddy movie.
Yeah, I don't. Didn't they say that Robert Englund was coming back for one?
I don't think so.
I could have swore that they were going to bring him back.
You know, do a Elm Street video game with Robert Englund. Do a video game with him. If you got Jason on the way, do a Freddy game with Robert Englund.
Or maybe try to do a video game when you had Ash, Freddy, and Jason. That'd be if you can't do it.
I got a kick when Robert Englund. I got a kick out of Robert Englund coming back for Stranger Things season 4 because the villain in that was kind of similar to Freddy Krueger, Vecna. It was kind of cool. They brought Robert Englund in for that. That was so cool. They're very, very cool tribute to the 80s, just like with Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Why that goes to the other thing. Why the fuck don't they have like a homage? Speaking of Stranger Things, why I would love to see them do like a reference to Cobra in either Cobra Kai or Stranger, because Cobra Kai, I could see a scene where Johnny is talking about Cobra Kai. It's like, did you name it after that movie with Stallone? That would be awesome.
I wonder if, like, with this documentary that Sly's got coming up, if he's going to mention Cobra. I know it's a long shot, but do you think it will get mentioned?
He better.
He has to acknowledge it. It did reasonably well, even if it wasn't the big success that what WB was hoping for.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think he'll talk about Limestone, which you just reviewed recently?
Yeah, he might.
I don't think so.
No, I'm just joking. He'll probably say, it was an embarrassment.
I wonder if he'll even talk about Staying Alive, which did pretty good at the box office, but he directly
or Stopping My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Stopping My Mom Will
Shoot.
Spy Kids 3.
But I will say I like to see that. Of course, I saw Arnold's documentary on Netflix. That did pretty well. So I'm looking forward to what Sly was on Arnold's documentary, and he talked about how he even admitted that Arnold is the better action star because he has the bigger popularity. He even said it.
Yeah. That was a really good documentary.
I would love to see what Sly's got to do.
I hope that they're like Arnold, like it's in parts.
Yeah, you said the first 2 parts were better.
When they started going down, I did see it. It was pretty good, and I'm looking forward to what Sly's got to say. I'm looking forward to what Sly's got to say for that. Speaking, I know we talked about Sly's show, Tulsa King. What did you guys think of Full Bar?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
It's doing well. It became number one. It did pretty well on Netflix. The number one Netflix show around the world for a while, and they're coming up with season 2. So it's becoming a big. Speaking of old school action making the comeback, they're Arnold and Sly. They're definitely slowly coming back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Stallone's got as far as the future has. I mean, Tulsa King, I think I thought there were talks of another season, but I don't think that has a future. I mean, because I haven't said anything else,
or because of this shutdown that's going on.
Yeah. Call it. No.
Well, I'm happy for both of them. I'm happy for the both of them. I'm happy they're making a comeback, and I believe Stallone has something in him to give us Cobra 2. Please, before you still got time, Sly, give us Cobra 2. We need the disease has gotten worse. We need the cure. We need a bigger dose of the cure, which is Cobra. Please bring Cobra back.
Yeah, woke is the disease and Cobra is the cure.
Yeah, if anything, have Stallone.
There you go. Wokeness. There you go. Wokeness is the new disease. There you go.
That's why I put in the thumbnail, Hollywood is the disease and we are the cure.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of playing with the tagline. But I mean, you can have Stallone direct it. I mean, and
yes,
you had to have a sequel to Cobra.
Someone else should write it and Stallone direct it,
And give us the Zombie Squad. Give us the Zombie Squad. That'll be interesting. Give us the Zombie Squad.
And try to if you're going to do another Rambo film, take the good ideas you had for 5 and make that the new sequel. Interesting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was definitely.
That would have been interesting. That would have been cool. Because that scene in Beverly Hills Cop with Stallone with the Lamborghini against the truck, that would be cool if they put a sequel to Cobra, but this time he has the Mercury 50 against the train. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Or maybe, the Art Before reveals that they did fix up this car in the second one. They said we gave it a huge upgrade. It was definitely in the budget this time.
But But you know what? Since the two actors from Dirty Harry was in Cobra, can you imagine if they did a crossover with Dirty Harry and Cobra?
Would have been interesting, especially
That'd
since
be
both
fun.
of them, since both films were distributed by WB. That would have been nice. Hell, maybe Cobra could have helped out
Absolutely.
Dirty Harry in the Deadpool.
Yeah, that would have been
Absolutely.
perfect. But what do you guys
Or
want to do? You guys,
of course, you have.
I was going to ask, like, what do you guys want to do? I mean, as far as because I think we're going on 2 hours here.
Yeah, 2 hours and almost 15 minutes. So I assume you like the cinematography, right, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's well shot.
Mhm.
I mean, it's well shot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys can elaborate more on that.
What about the score by Sylvester
I
LeVay?
thought it really fit.
Go ahead, Wildman.
That was perfect. I thought the cinematography was perfect for the film because it really captured the story, and I really thought they took the cinematography of Miami Vice and made it more gritty and darker with the neon lights in the dark. How the whole city is like covered in dark. You don't see a lot of lights on. It's like so late night, and it's like and I would love to see if there's a very skilled director who can pull that off in the sequel. I would love to see it, and I thought the cinematography was so unique at the time, and it fit the mood, and the score by Sylvester LeVay was perfect as well. Yeah, he also did the music for 3 O'Clock High, a very underrated high school movie. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Same here.
I've heard of it.
Check it out. A very underrated high school movie. Classic. Very underrated. And Steven Spielberg was involved in it, but he was very upset with the movie that he took his name off.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first
Because speaking of Cobra Kai, he wanted a version of the Karate Kid because the movie has like a similarity to the Karate Kid because it's about a nerd going up against a bully. So he wanted his version of the Karate Kid, and he didn't get that, so he took his name off.
That's interesting.
It's not the first time. He apparently took off his name off the movie Fandango. I think it had Kevin Costner in it. Yeah, I think
That's a good movie. What?
Yeah.
I love that movie. Judd Nelson, Kevin Costner. Really? I love that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and Susie Amos. It's definitely a nice coming of age, road trip kind of movie. It had some nice cinematography, especially since it was filmed in Texas, and I'm from Texas. Captured, the landscapes, the desert, and the whole, parachute sequence that you see. Yeah, it was done very well.
Oh my God, I love that, especially the chase with the plane. I love the chase with the plane. Born to be wild. I love that. And Kevin Costner, early Kevin Costner, man, he was a wild child in that movie. Early Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Then the Kevin Costner would know I with fucking Yellowstone.
What's that called again? That
especially
movie?
in
Fandango.
Fandango.
Yeah, it came out in 1985.
I loved his.
Yeah, he also had another film come out
character.
that year, American Flyers, which had Ray Don Chon in it too as well, and I forget what the actor's name that played Costner's brother, and then Alexandra Paul was also in it too.
Yeah, it was about kind of like a bicycle chase.
Yeah, it's from the
bicycle
same writer
racing.
it's the same writer that did Breaking Away, which I like, by the way. I don't know if everyone's seen it.
Don't forget, he came out with Silverado that same year too.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
He's also in it too.
But do you guys, do y'all want to go on for another 15 minutes here?
Sure, why not?
That's not good.
Yeah, why not?
And
I was going to say something about the cinematography of Cobra, where I like the beginning where it's like red for a good part whenever we're introduced to one of the night slasher followers on the motorcycle, and the score by LeVay kind of reminds me it sounds like an early Doom score almost in a way.
It reminded me of a lot of something you see on Miami Vice. Something with the montage and the way it was shot. It's something it's like remind me of Tony Scott. Tony Scott would have done something like that. Speaking of Top Gun, it came out the same year. Yeah.
Or Dario Argento. A little bit of red. Like that little red color.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that little. I mean, it's it's in there for a little bit, but it kind of like
You know,
just
I
kind of
would
quick
I would love
flush.
to see Tony Scott direct Cobra. Speaking of directors I would have seen Tony Scott direct the sequel. I mean, Tony Scott, you see a little bit of Tony
Yeah.
Scott in this because he came out with Top Gun. That's in Cobra and Top Gun went at each other, and Top Gun beat it. And so every time I think of Cobra or Top Gun, I always think about those two movies because they came out the same month, the same
Yeah,
year.
no, think about it. I can't believe I forgot about him. That would have been
Now
interesting.
Top Gun Maverick came out the same month too.
It came out in May.
They both came out in May.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. May 27th, I think, was when Top Gun Maverick came out. Or 25th. I don't either 25th or 26th, I can't remember.
When did the original Top Gun and Cobra come out?
Let me see.
It was definitely May of '86.
I know Fabio. Top Gun came out. Let me see here. Top Gun came out. Why is it so hard to find it? It should be like the first thing.
I'm looking at it myself too. I'm looking at it. and it's
IMDb,
May
like,
16th.
you can't
May
find it.
16th. It came out a week before Cobra. May 16th, 1986 is when it came out.
So a week before Cobra, and they just wiped out Cobra.
But it would have been awesome if both those movies were huge. I know Cobra was a hit, but the adults, if you look at those movies, did do well. So in a way, they did. They both. It was like a fair. It was like a fair. But yeah, Cobra should get the same acknowledgement and respect as Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was definitely more of a film.
And
for
don't forget,
adults.
they have those. They're known for those big sunglasses, the Aviators. We got to talk about those. The Aviators of both movies. The Aviators. You can tell they
There you
made
go.
fun of that in Beverly Hills Cop. Ah!
Yeah, these are the actual glasses that
There you
Stallone wore,
go.
except mine are not polarized like they are, but they are the G15 with the green lenses and
with the
you see how
blue
the hooks on them.
blue lenses. The blue lenses. Yeah.
Yeah, his
Oh
was
man,
polarized. Mine
they're
are.
gorgeous. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, you can buy those on eBay for $20. I'm gonna get my own pair. Oh my god, yes.
Really?
And of course, in Beverly Hills Cop 2, they kind of made fun of that. They had the big glasses on there.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing the big aviators, making fun of Top Gun and Cobra. Yeah, man. Those two good movies with those badass aviators, man.
Yeah, I believe even Top Gun had the aviator, except it's a little different. But
Honestly, I prefer the aviators in Cobra any day than Top Gun because they look more badass.
yeah, it's true. In fact, I could have swore a character from Hard Target wrote something similar to the aviator type of glasses. I think he was the guy that said, "Oh, this guy thinks he's funny."
It would have been cool if he said, "This guy thinks he's Cobra."
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great to rewatch again. I still have to review the movie. Now I've already.
I'm surprised that no one mentioned this, but Sylvester Stallone wrote the screenplay for this movie. How do you think?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think it's a good script.
He mostly writes all the stuff for his movies. He kind of co-writes, and of course he took the book Fair Game and took some from that, and of course he took Beverly Hills Cop. He took the stuff he originally wanted for Beverly Hills Cop, and he put it. He likes to recycle his old stuff he's written and put it in other movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he did the script.
Do you think the film deserves an extended cut? And do you think we should? And do you hope that we get one someday, if it's possible?
I really believe we will. With this Hollywood strike that's going on, I'm sure they'll wise up. It'll give them time to think what they're doing. Start using their heads instead of their asses, and they'll start making better decisions outside of wokeness.
That's a tall order. Their heads are stuck in their asses. Yeah, using their asses out.
Well, they need to pull their heads out of their asses. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that Stan Bush song, "The Touch" from the Transformers movie. It was supposed to be written for this movie.
Oh my God! Really?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? The kid from Over the Top did the voice of that movie. He did the voice for that Transformers animated movie, and he ends up working with Stallone a year later in Over the Top. Yeah, David Mattenhall. I just saw a recent interview with him. He looks great. Which is another reason why they need to do a sequel to Over the Top as well. We definitely need to talk about Over the Top for sure.
I know that I don't know if he's. Last I heard, he was a lawyer. I don't know if he's still a lawyer though.
But you know what? If they can bring Thomas Ian Griffin back out of retirement for Cobra Kai, I can see them bringing him back for Over the Top sequel.
Yeah, I would see it. But you guys want to wrap up here, or I mean, you think this is a good wrap up point, or?
Yeah. Did you still want to talk? Do you want to talk off stream if you're cool with it, or are you gonna?
I'm probably gonna go right to bed because I'm getting a little bit out of it.
I need to get off too, but it was fun. I'm so fucking glad that you went back to acknowledge this movie again because it really needs. Because I can see the pop culture. I can going back, all these people doing reactions to old movies. They did a few on Cobra. Seeing those reactions is evidence that people want to see movies like this again. That there are some people today in this generation that want to see these type of movies again, like Cobra. Because it's the perfect time of nostalgia. Because people are so crazy about this age nostalgia thing through music and movies now and TV shows like Stranger Things and Cobra Kai. It's the perfect time, and I would love to see Cobra be part of that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would stay up more, but all right. So last night I had drunk something flavored water, and I didn't know. I didn't know that it had a B12 in it. And, B12 is for energy. And I was going, this is before bed, and it jacked up my sleep.
Kept you awake longer than you wanted, so yeah.
Now I went to bed, but it felt like my heart was racing. Like it just something I shouldn't have. Long story short, I didn't sleep well. But anyways,
if I'm going to drink caffeine and if I'm not going to worry about sleep, I usually do it like on a Friday or Saturday, not like a day before I would go to work.
Yeah,
and sometimes I'm not even great at that either. I should know better.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do something again for like Over the Top and Tango and Cash. And I know we didn't get to like a lot of movie talk. We talked a lot about Cobra here, and we'll do like a hangout again, and have a bunch of us in here and go off. And
it's always fun doing this.
There's not a lot of movie talk anyway because of the shutdown going on right now. So there's not a lot of movie talk anyway.
That's true.
But like I said, John. And Wildman, if you want to come along, but I'm doing a live stream of discussion of Indy 5, really giving our thoughts. You can say a few good things, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be more negatives than positives in that movie. So,
and I'm still working on, because I know there was a few people in that one stream I did, they want to see me talk about Indy 5 and The Flash. And so I'm trying to catch up a little bit too. Because I haven't been doing too much the past few days.
Yep. Like I said, you're definitely more than welcome to join. I'm pretty sure you'll definitely vent your thoughts out based on what you've seen, right?
Yeah, I know Wildman loves it, right?
Maybe he'll love it more with Daniel.
Maybe the first 5 minutes. Only the first 5 minutes. That's it.
Maybe you'll love it more with Daniel Craig, maybe.
maybe he'll call the Dial of Sydney Sweeney. He'll watch.
And maybe if Sydney Sweeney was replacing Helena Shaw, he'll probably want.
I would definitely would have seen it for sure if they instead of that other bitch for sure if they put her in there.
Yeah, she'll definitely release her from boots on Vola. That's for sure.
And Wildman would definitely watch it if it was called The Temple of Daniel Craig.
Or Daniel Craig's Last Crusade.
Yeah. But to everybody out there in the chat, thank you for dropping by, and thank you, Scotty and Wildman, for joining in.
Thanks for having me once again. So it's always a pleasure.
And
always a pleasure to be down with you guys.
Thank you to everybody out there again. And Hollywood is a disease, and we are the cure.
Cobra, along with Cobra. Cobra's the cure. Thank you very much. See you in the stars.
We the audience, are the cure. Enough said.
Yes, indeed.
See you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Good night. See you in the stars.